Dalat, I see you. I think you're the first person today. AJ, I see you. Let's invite as many people as possible. I'm going to do the same as well. Inside. Bringing hope and make you feel alright. Hello, hello. I hope you guys are good. Happy Thursday. Let this light that's within me shine to the whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, good evening. Hello, hello. Inside, all around the air. Inside, bringing hope and make you feel alright. I hope we are good. The promise, the future, and life. Let the light that's within me shine to the whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day. Honest Pearl, I see you. Melvida, you are welcome. Amore Pearl, you're welcome. Okay. Inside. Bringing hope and make you feel. Hello, Stanley, I see you. I hope you're good. Good evening, good day, wherever you're joining from. I hope we're good. Let this light that's within me shine to the whole. I see you, Glamorous Jay. How's your day been? How's the week been? Simone, welcome. And love, oh, inside, all around the air. Inside, bringing hope and make you feel alright. Rainbow, the promise, the future, and life. Let this light that's within me shine to the whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. What is that? Illuminated Mind, good evening. Please click down on your screen. Let's send to all our friends. Let them be part of our talk today. A13, good evening, brother. I hope you're good. Happy Thursday to you. This is the day the Lord has made. Indeed, we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Coach Tola, I see you. Longest time no see. I hope you are good. Thank you, A13. Thank you. Adwo Alinda. Is it Adwa Linda? Just on my way from work. Oh, wow. Please drive safely or get home safely in one piece. Thank you so much for joining. A13 already. Thank you for liking the live. I hope we are good. Yes, I'm doing that exactly. TikTok says to encourage my viewers to share the live and invite more friends. Let's invite more friends, honestly, to be part of this talk today. That's why I always leave the song, for a few minutes, maybe about 5 minutes or thereabout, because, we do serious business here, so that I can go straight into the talk and straight after I can bring us up, to talk some more about this topic today. Today on Thursday on Insight with Fumi Royal, we talk about marriage relationship talks. And it's serious matter, talks that somewhat seem difficult to sit down and just talk casually. That's why, it's like I'm on assignment here and God has given me the privilege to be here in this capacity. So the least you can help me do is please share to all your friends that are married, those of your friends that are planning to get married, or the ones that are in a relationship that you think, these people might end up to be husband and wife. Anyone that is in a marriage relationship, tautology as they say, please help share this live to them. It's very crucial. You might think, it's about marriage talk. Married talk for married people. No, you're courting someone with the hope of getting married. Have you talked about this in your relationship? Have you noticed any slightest gaslighting in that relationship? Have you addressed it? So don't think, it's just for married people alone. Yeah, I know we're talking to married couples, but other people can learn, especially those planning their marriage as well. So you may think it's 4 or 5 years away, but it's never too late to start learning about things. I've been in it. Thank God we're entering February. February, by the grace of God, will be 26 years in marriage. How we do it is only God helping us. Is it a bed of roses? No. We have bed of roses. Yes. So it's a mixture of all of these things. And we're going to talk about certain topics or certain issues that is so heavy, or it's not really easily talked about amongst couples, among people in a relationship. Woman of purpose, good evening. I hope you're good. I hope your Thursday has been good. Mine, so far so good. I bless God. I can't complain. It's just the weather's cold. Yeah, but no matter how much we grumble and, summer will come when summer is ready. So we have to live life. We move, as they say. So welcome once again, guys. Welcome to Insight with Fumi Royal. Today, we're going to be talking about gaslighting in marriage. If you were here last week, it may seem like a continuation, kind of. But I didn't lump it with the abuse in marriage last week because it would be too much. And trust me, even last week, I think we did almost 4 hour plus, which I didn't even plan for. But you can imagine how crucial these topics are. And marriages are suffering. Couples are suffering in this. Maybe sometimes they find it hard to communicate with one another, or one party is ready to communicate and make changes, and the other party is not still having it and all. And then, there's no joy. There's chaos in that marriage. There's no trust. There's no love. There's fear and all of those things, which is not what God intends for any marriage relationship. So I always say I dare us to talk about these topics here on Insight. Let us talk about it. It's a safe space. However, we're mindful. We're mindful because lives are affected here by the things we share, by the things we say, by our submissions. So I always give my talk to put perspective to the topic. So it's not like I just throw it open and let people come and have their feel. No, let's be guided in what we're doing. And like I say to people, God's intention for marriage is that we enjoy our marriage relationships. When we're not seeing the goodness of marriage, maybe you and I need to check ourselves. What are we not doing right? Or what are we doing wrong? Maybe that's why there is issues. That's why we're not enjoying the benefits of a married life. So we can always change. Certain things we may have learned growing up, certain things will pick up along the way, and it's become a habit. I know they say old habits die hard, but they can die, people. They can die. But if no one is addressing it with you, nobody's talking about it with you. Some people don't even know they do this. They gaslight their partner. They don't even know they do it. And when you even identify this in your partner or your spouse or your husband or wife, and you're shy to talk about it because it's a very sensitive talk, and then you keep enduring the marriage, before you know, trust is gone. Before you know, resentment start building in because they're just having their feel and they don't even give a care in the world, or they don't know. These are things that breaks up a marriage relationship. So come, people, come grab your chair, sit down, let us talk about this crucial topic that marriage relationship do face from time to time. So I'm going to go straight into my talk. It's a bit lengthy, but I'll try as much as possible, to pack it up, because I really want to hear from us, for us to share our own submissions, way out. If you have experience in that, please come share with us so we can learn and also self-reflect and do better by our husbands, by our wives, so that we can enjoy our marriage relationship. Guys, you're going to be in that marriage till death do you part, or till you're gray and old and all of that. Let me make us laugh a bit. I sing, my husband sings, so I just want us to laugh a bit. I'm going to go into my talk. And I remembered, I don't know where this came from. Maybe I've even shared it here before, I don't know. You're going to grow old with your husband, grow old with your wife. That is God's intention, that you be each other's bodies for life. I always say, I used to imagine me maybe at 88 and my husband at 91, and then we go to a concert and they say these old grannies or great grannies or whatever, they're coming to sing, and then all the music, with the drums, everything going, and then we walk up stage, my husband holding his stick, even me leaning on him holding my stick, walking on the stage with the microphone, and then with all the noise, people clapping and shouting, and then we just come to the front of the stage and we're supposed to just start singing, and then I'm not like, please stop the music, and they'll be wondering, hey, I hope something is not wrong. I said, please hold on, let me pick up my teeth and put it back so I can sing. Imagine the laughter. I don't know where that came from. So you're meant to be ripe old age with your husband, with your wife, and it takes a lot of hard work. Husbands are not perfect, wives are not perfect. If we have that deep understanding, we will give room for errors, mistakes, lovingness, forgiveness, and all of that. I don't know why I'm doing this preamble before the talk, but I guess it is needed and necessary. What is your vision about your marriage? Even if you're having issues, even if you feel, oh, let's just go separate ways for now, I need some air or whatever, what is still your vision about that marriage relationship? Guys, we need to work at it. Love conquers all, understanding, trust, and all of those things. If you're willing to love your spouse, I bet they'll be willing to love you back. But the moment we have issues like gaslighting, there's going to be problems. So let us talk about this. Anatello, my brother, how are you? Long time no see. I hope you're good. So let us talk about this topic before it goes out of hand. Before we're not saying, just sign the divorce paper, I'm done here. No, we don't want that, do we? Oh, good to see you. Thank God. Thank God for life. You're welcome. Thank you for joining in. Guys, please click down on your screen and help me send to as many people as possible, please. It's very crucial because we know one or two people that may be married. We probably know few who have separated. We probably know some who are like, they're divorced, It's a hard thing. In fact, I hate that word. I hate that word, but it is well. Life happens. I get it. But we can do better. We that are still in it, we that are still aspiring to go into it, God helping all of us. So let's go into the talk, and then after I'm done, I have my puzzle for today. Last week I couldn't because the talk was so, my goodness, intense. I couldn't even bring my puzzle, can you imagine? So who knows what will happen today, but it's all good. But I have it ready anyways. So I'm going to go into my talk, and guys, take notes. Whatever you think I've left behind, that's where you come in to share that with us so that we can cover as much as possible. Thank you so much, Woman of Purpose. And guys, please always help me tap, just to say you're here and, I'm not by myself for now at least. So marriage is built on trust, as we know, is built on mutual respect and open communication. However, when one partner manipulates the other's perception of reality to gain control, the relationship becomes toxic. Yeah. So the topic today is gaslighting in marriage. So this behavior is known as gaslighting, what I've just said. And the term, if I did a bit of search here and there, the term originates from a play, Gaslight, from 1938, apparently, where a husband manipulates his wife into doubting her own sanity. Imagine. This is deep, guys, and it may get intense today, so fasten your seatbelt. So in the context of marriage, gaslighting can deeply, deeply harm one's mental, emotional, and relational well-being. So today, we're going to look at understanding gaslighting, its effects, and strategies for addressing it, because it is very crucial that we foster a healthy relationship in our marriage relationships. It's very crucial. If our marriages are not healthy, that means we're not healthy as well. That's simply what it means. So I'm going to break it further. What is gaslighting? What is gaslighting? So I say gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation. Thank you so much for the heart, mate. I think it was that Kenneth. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate. Thank you for tapping already. Please, guys, send to your friends. Let them be part of this talk today. So gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where one person causes another to question their memory, their perception, or judgment. Yeah, good evening, Kenneth. I hope you're good. Happy Thursday to you. So how it manifests, how does it manifest? Because, you know, some grammar, this baby grammar, especially where you're not from where I'm coming from, you might have to explain, break it down so that people can understand, so that they can reflect, so that they can identify it if they're going through it. That is the essence of our being here on Insight today and every other day. So how does gaslighting, how does it manifest? One, denying events or conversations that occur. Maybe you and your husband, you know, past events and all that, maybe they've done something or they did something wrong, and you're trying to, something else happens and you're trying to refer to the past event of mishap or mistakes or whatever, and they're telling you nothing like that ever happened. Your imagination is, you know, they just start, and then you almost be doubting, but I remember this thing, it happened, we talked about it, we quarreled about it, you know, they would deny that it ever occurred. If you're not careful, it comes very subtly sometimes. Sometimes I know people forget things, you know, but this one, they're so sure, but you're also so sure that this thing happened or this conversation happened, but they're always denying. So if you notice this occurs all the time, you may just be being gaslit by your spouse. Again, how it manifests: twisting facts to suit the manipulator's narrative. You know, especially when there's a third party, two people are now against one person, and this one person is insisting that no, your facts are wrong, that this and that, and then both of you are like, maybe you're losing your mind, or it didn't happen truly, or you almost get confused. You're being gaslit or gaslighted. I don't know. Please help me with the grammar now. See what I mean? Anyway, I know you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And again, how do we see the manifestations of it? Dismissing the victim's feelings as overly sensitive or irrational. What on earth are you talking about? Oh, get a grip of yourself. And you're saying, no, this was what you said the last time I told you this, You just be like, seriously, when did we get married that you're piling up all of this? You know, they just come up with things that you almost think you're running crazy, you know? So be careful in that relationship. Can you identify these things I am beginning to talk about? So be mindful. Again, using phrases like, you are imagining things. That never happened. You know, your spouse, you're always saying that, or your spouse is always saying that, and you almost think, was it a dream? Or was it the movie I watched? No, but this thing happened some time ago, and you can even recall the time, the date, where you were, how it happened, or things like that. But you're supposed to say you are imagining things. You are, you know, just to brush you off, ignore you, or dismiss you. You're being gaslit by your spouse. Note that. Is this something that occurs often in your relationship? Please move your chair closer. Yes, please. This talk is for you. Because why? We need you to enjoy your relationship, your married relationship. If you're in that courtship, these are things, if you identify, begin to talk about it now. Don't be quiet and say, no, maybe when I become his husband, the husband, or I become the wife, they will change, and you don't talk about it. You think they read minds? Please, if you notice this, subtly identify these things, talk about it. Let me not jump my notes. Anyways, so let's look at signs of gaslighting in a marriage. There's signs you can look out for. You're the one in that marriage relationship. There's signs you notice that there's emotional instability. The victim often feels confused. Just like all this example I've given, they feel second guess. They second guess themselves. Like, no, it happened. Did it happen? No. And then, you just keep remembering. They almost would twist things such that you too, you admit that, no, it didn't happen, I'm so sorry, you second guess yourself, and experiences of anxiety or self-doubt will always play in. When that happens, you doubt yourself, you're always anxious that, hey, this thing you're about to say now, maybe, you're afraid to even talk to your spouse. Why should that be? This person is supposed to be your friend, your personal person, They can't be doing this to you. And even if they are, maybe they don't realize. Let's give them some excuse. But please, we need to change our ways so we can enjoy this relationship. Don't leave your spouse second guessing themselves. Don't leave them confused all the time just because you want to have your way or you don't want to talk about whatever it is they're bringing into that conversation. You let them doubt themselves like, no, this can't be. Oh, did I know? Sometimes you even lie on yourself just to have peace. But you're being gaslit by this person. Be careful. It's not a way to build a relationship. Imagine a lifetime relationship. Hey, let's start addressing issues. Again, signs you can look out for is constant apologies. Feeling the need to always constantly apologizing, always frequently apologizing, even when not at fault. Hello? Why? You're even indulging your spouse if you don't know. Be careful. If you're the type because you want peace, just say, okay, I'm sorry, it's okay, just let it go. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, it's piling up. The day that bottle will explode, I don't know who is going to cut in the process. So don't pile things up. Don't feel the need to apologize, abruptly just because you want peace. You don't want argument or whatever. No, you're not helping your spouse. Neither are you helping yourself nor your marriage. Again, another sign to look out for is loss of confidence. Like I said, it almost sounds like a continuation from last week's topic. So yeah, it's the same kind of talk, kind of, but let's still break it down regardless. So signs of gaslighting is loss of confidence, doubting one's ability to make decisions or remember events accurately. Just because there's nothing really you say this spouse of yours will twist it. No, it didn't happen that way. You see, you're just imagining things. This was what happened. And you'll be like, oh, we were both there. You'll be thinking in your head, but you can't even say it out. We were both there, and this person did this, and that happened. And they're telling you, no. I said no. That was not what happened. You like it. You like to imagine. Maybe you're watching too much Nollywood or Hollywood movies. And then before you know, you start doubting yourself. You can't even make decisions without you thinking, would it? And you're trying to remember events from past. And it's like, you don't even know because somebody has told you otherwise. That didn't happen. And you're confused as ever, Be mindful. Be careful. Address it. Don't overlook it. Again, sometimes signs of gaslighting in marriage that we can see is isolation, feeling cut off from friends and families due to manipulators' influence. Your spouse, who's always gaslighting you, will tell you how this friend is not good for you. This friend, they've been in your life before you met them, before you married them, and they haven't finished you, so to say. I don't want to use the K word. And now this person has come. That friend is not good. This person is not good. And then they will find solid reasons, in fact, backed with evidence, why they're not good for you. So they will isolate you from your friends. Some people get away from isolating you from your family. They will tell you that family member, they don't like you. They don't like that you're married. Hey, geez. I think I'm here to do drama for us today. But I hope we're getting the message. You know, they will manipulate you. They would just, you know, anything to have their way, just so that they can have you to themselves. And in the process, okay, I don't even say don't have me to yourself, but treat me well, treat me right. They say gaslighting is intentional, done for selfish gain. You can imagine. Thank you, woman of purpose, for that. It is, I must say, because they know what they're doing. Why is it that when you want to address issues, they quickly want to manipulate you or confuse you and all that? They know what they're doing. Most times, because some people, it's a way of life, they don't see anything, they just manipulate and get what they want, they don't see it as anything wrong. So I do understand that, but that's what we're talking about it today. So if you're the one always gaslighting your spouse, please stop before your spouse will start feeling resentment towards you. We don't want that. And again, dependence on the gaslighter. So over time, the victim becomes reliant on this person because every word they say is now the truth. They can't think for themselves. Even when they have to make some decisions, if they don't speak to their spouse, something that has even nothing to do with their spouse, could be work related or whatever, if they don't speak to their spouse, they're like, if he doesn't say this, they don't think they can make that decision, Always seeking validation for decision making. I mean, there's time for collaboration, husband and wife to make decisions, joint decisions, I get it. But there are times you have to make certain decisions by yourself. You want certain things, you know what you want. Your spouse may want something else. That's why you come together and say, my dear, this is what I need or what I want. And say, no, you must have what I want for you. Otherwise, you're not having it. Hey. And then you feel like, but I have a right to want this or to have this. And you be like, they will now, oh my goodness, by the time they finish with your mindset, honestly, even with the one they did not even suggest, you ask them, how about that one too? But that's no way to live. And if you're the one gaslighting, please, it's no way to treat your spouse either. So let's look at the impact of gaslighting, because all of these things we're talking about, it has more of negative impact on a marriage relationship. That's why we're here on Insights, to address this. Let us be open about it. Let us confront these issues that, plague marriage, that leads marriage to divorce. We don't want divorce, no. Why would you marry and then later to go your way? There's a reason you got married. Through the thick and thin, you should be able to, work things out. And this is why we're here, to help us. Like I say, there is no perfect person out there, but we can help each other, talk with one another, reason together, so that we can all learn to enjoy our marriages by changing our bad attitudes or, certain old bad habits we picked up along the way. Let's drop it and pick up the new ones. They're there and it will do us good. So let's look at the impact of gaslighting. It impacts our mental health because it's a psychological behavior. Your mental health, if it's tampered with, it will mess up with almost every aspect of your life. So why won't we talk about this? Especially if you're in that marriage relationship, because sometimes people lose their identity when they enter a marriage relationship, and that is not supposed to be so. In fact, you're supposed to find who you are some more, because you're different from your spouse is different from you. With your uniqueness coming together, it will be super unique, guys. Not that now you're in there, somebody's bringing you down to be there and just be reigning Lord, Master and all of that, or Mistress and all of Mrs. and all. No, you're not supposed to gaslight your husband are not supposed to gaslight their wives. It's not a good way, a healthy way to live. So gaslighting can lead to anxiety, like I've mentioned before. Even beyond that, it goes into depression, low self-esteem, feeling of worthlessness, just because of love for this person. Why? Biko. Please. So it can affect mental health, and also it can affect your emotional health. Victims may feel powerless, trapped, or fearful. It's like all of a sudden they can't think for themselves. They're always afraid, if I take the decision now, hey, my spouse is never gonna like it. Or, they just think with their spouse's mind, not their own mind. and they feel low self-esteem. Imagine someone you knew before they got married. They always hide, they're very confident and all of that, and then all of a sudden they're married 2-3 years down the line, you barely see them, and one day you met somewhere and it's like they can barely even look you in the eye to talk. You say, because you're now Mrs. or you're now Mr. What's the story? What's happening with you? And they can't even share with you. That's the thing. So it can affect emotional health. You feel trapped, you feel powerless, you feel fearful just because of one person. No, it shouldn't be so. Again, it can lead to relationship breakdown. So the constant manipulation erodes trust in that marriage, and it creates a kind of toxic dynamic to marriage altogether. Marriage is supposed to be loving, caring, understanding, compromising, integrity, and all of those things. And if they're missing in there, what then do you have left? Because I personally think love alone cannot sustain a marriage, but another topic for another day. Again, it can affect your physical health, not just your mental, not just your emotional, not just the relationship itself. It can affect your physical health. Chronic stress from emotional manipulation can manifest as headaches. You just say this unexplained headaches, fatigue. You're just tired because your body is tired, your mind is tired from being manipulated, and there's some other physical ailments you can't even go into. I remembered, sometimes some people feel pain. I remember I felt pain before that. When I press my chest, I feel that pain because of issues of life that was so much in there. So it can affect your physical health. Some people, high blood pressure from nowhere. Certain sicknesses or illnesses will just come from nowhere. You can't even explain it. Some, the doctors will tell you maybe because you're not eating well, that's why this has happened. But this one, they've checked and everything, your collagen, cholesterol, everything is okay. Blood count, everything is okay, but they can't explain why you're having this high blood pressure. Not knowing that it's constant being gaslit, constant manipulation from spouse is bringing this fear, anxiety, bringing up your blood pressure and all of that. So let's be mindful. We don't want to be the cause of ill health towards our spouses. It's not a good thing, because sometimes I think sometimes we just take each other for granted. God help us. So why does gaslighting happen in a marriage? I'll go into that quickly. I'm trying to rush so that, because like I said, it's a bit long, but I want to try and make it as short as possible. Why does gaslighting happen in a marriage? Desire for control. What else? The gaslighter seeks to dominate their partner and maintain power in the relationship. Is that how God intended for it? No. We're supposed to respect one another, submit to one another, love one another, but one seeks control. One wants to be in power. Sometimes it's not just man or men. The women too sometimes want to be in power. Maybe because they're more wealthy from before they got married, or they have more property or possession or whatever. They feel, they're the in thing in this relationship, therefore they must have power. They will gaslight their spouse to do whatever they want and things like that. It happens, not just the ones we watch in films. These are some people's reality. Are they happy? Of course not. Therefore, let's talk about it so we can make changes, so we can enjoy our marriages or our relationships. Again, why does gaslighting happen in a marriage? Insecurity reasons, of course. Instead of facing your own insecurity, you're manipulating your spouse just to feel okay with yourself. It's not a good way to dealing with issues. So the gaslighter may feel insecure and use manipulation to boost their own confidence in that marriage relationship. When you now feel your spouse, you've bamboozled them, they're now so a bit fearful or what, it makes you feel good, you feel secure in yourself. That is no. Mbano, as my people would say, no. Deal with your insecurities. Seek counseling if you must. Talk to your friends. I've noticed this in me. Guys, help me. Or something. Don't come and take it out on your spouse and be belittling them, making them lose their confidence because now they don't have the self-esteem. You now feel good about yourself. That's very evil, really. Again, like I said, it could be a learned behavior. Reasons why it's occurring in your marriage relationship. It could stem from observing similar patterns in childhood or past relationships. Maybe your parents as well, seeing them grow up. You see how mommy manipulates daddy, how daddy gaslights mommy and things like that. And yeah, they're still okay. They're even still together. They're enjoying life, so to say. And you feel, oh, this must be the in thing. In fact, I can't wait to start gaslighting my wife or my husband. It's a behavior that is learned. And if it's something you learned, you can unlearn and relearn the right thing. Because sometimes, you know, there's some habits that, God help us. Even in marriage, some things we ought to have dropped outside that door before we entered into that marriage door. But you see some people in that marriage, that's where they even, you know, build house on top of that bad habit. They build house on top of it and now want to bombard their spouse with it. Like they don't have enough stress of life already. Okay, let me calm down. Let me drink water to calm down. If you learnt it, unlearn it. You can unlearn and relearn the right thing. Yeah, please, let's do that. Because that's the only way you can enjoy that woman, that man, please. Then again, avoiding accountability can promote gaslighting in a marriage. When you can't even go and report your husband or your wife to that elder or to anyone, they don't feel they're accountable to no one. And you that they're supposed to be accountable to, you've been gaslighted to the point that you can't even challenge them. Because they will tell you, they will tell you 1,000,001 reasons why it is so. So they avoid accountability. So gaslighting is often used to deflect blame or responsibility for wrongdoing. You can't challenge them because they'll give you good reasons why they did that or why they had to do that. And who are you to challenge them? When you challenge today, challenge tomorrow, challenge, and they're like, no, there's no wrongdoing on their part. After a while, you get tired. You get fatigued. You get mentally drained. You burn out. And remember, we're talking about a lifelong marriage or marriage. So you have to address this thing. Some of you may be, we're 10 years, we've survived this long. Hey, you still have another 60 years to go. Is this how you want to live it? Make up your mind, your choice. So guys, I'm just going to give us few bits of biblical perspective to gaslighting. Yeah, God's design for marriage, like I said, his intention is good. Is we human beings. God help us. Marriage is meant to be a partnership of mutual love, respect, and support. Manipulation has no place in this sacred bond. In fact, you shouldn't be thinking about it. Sometimes I wonder, do people love themselves? Because you're meant to love your spouse the way you love yourself. So if you're doing that to your spouse, maybe you should check, well, do you actually love yourself? But some people, well, I guess maybe that's where selfishness comes in. You only love yourself, you don't love the other person genuinely. That's why you can do all of these things to them and think you can get away with it. You know, the Bible talks about this in so many. You can read Ephesians 5:28-29. And I'll tell you briefly what it says so that you can also think about it yourself. It says, so husbands ought to love their own wives, underline, as their own bodies. Yeah, do you love your wife, your husband, the way you love yourself? He who loves his wife loves himself. That's what my Bible says. And it says, for no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as the Lord does the church. So if you're able to be kind to yourself, if you're able to not manipulate yourself, why do you think you should manipulate your spouse? So Chima, I see you. Thanks for joining. Real like too, I think. I see you. Thanks for joining in. Again, honesty and truthfulness. If you check the Bible in Proverbs 12:22, it says, lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who deal truthfully are his delight. So are you always lying to gaslight your spouse, to having your way? Let's think about it for a second. No, not a good way. You're not honest. You're not truthful. Why must you? Let your yes be yes, let your no be no, and let your spouse think for themselves. That's why we're different human beings. I know the Bible says two have become one, but that doesn't mean we should lose our identity in that relationship. So gaslighting often involves deceit, and God is always against deceit. God would have us to be honest, to have integrity where our spouses are concerned. Even if you want to lie to every other person, not your spouse, even though we know that lying to people is the wrong thing, it's not a good thing, it just shows people you're not a person of integrity, because one day the truth will come out and then they look at you in they just lose all respect for you. So you might think you've been getting away with it, but this is not God's way of us enjoying our marriages. So let's be mindful. Again, valuing others. If you read Philippians 2:3, it says, let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. Your aim will be that even when you sit down to talk about whatever issue and your spouse is saying this and you're saying something opposite, you have a right to your opinion. And that's why you're together there to discuss. Sometimes you might agree to disagree to agree again, or you might disagree to agree again, or whatever it is. That's why you are human. You are uniquely made. You're individuals who come together for a common goal to make sure that things work in this marriage. So when your spouse comes and their suggestion is not what you would suggest, or they're against your suggestion, don't gaslight them to making them do that thing by force, because it's going to backfire. And then sometimes when it backfires, you still go and blame that spouse who was against it in the first place, just because you want to be in control. You don't want to admit any wrongdoing on your part. It's not a good way to live in a marriage relationship. In fact, this will not strengthen the bond, rather it will break that bond you have. So how to address gaslighting in marriage? Recognize that behavior. It's always important, because if you can't recognize it, obviously you can't address it. That's what it simply means. It's just like someone everybody sees like a drunk, and it's still I know my way home when no matter how many bottle, no matter how many, I still find my way home. They're still in denial until they come to say, come to think of it, I think I'm over drinking. You see, that alone is number one cure for that disease, so to say. So recognize that gaslighting is taking place in this relationship. Don't shy away from it. Of course, it's a hard thing to talk about, but that is even harder when you don't talk about it, because your relationship will suffer. Awareness is the first step. Understand that gaslighting is not normal or acceptable. In fact, if you've noticed this and you're still looking for a way to confront issues with your spouse, start journaling events, because you know them that no matter the the account you give of any occurrence, they will always say no, your own is imagination, their own is the right thing. Start jotting things down. Get a journal and put things down, especially when you know that this thing you're sensing, write it down. Or conversations to validate your memory, so that nobody will come and call you cat when you are not a dog or something like that. Call a spade a spade. Jot down things, especially when you know that this thing may cost whatever in the future. Have a written account of it. I know it's a lot, but these are ways you can actually help this person gaslighting you that, no, I have an account. Read through this. I wrote, look at the dates I wrote it on, the day it happened, how it happened, what I saw, that. Let them see, and let's hear what they're gonna say, because they never admit to any wrongdoing. That is your own account of event. So if you have to do that, do that. And again, the part B of this recognizing is engage in effective communication with your spouse, no matter how bad things are. Because when things are good, everybody's living life or enjoying life and all. But when things are bad, it's like, who wants to talk about it first? Who does not want to talk about it? Everybody's shying away from it. And before you know, things get so bad, until it blows in your faces. And then it's like, where do we pick the pieces from? So it's always good to engage in effective communication with our spouses. Set boundaries. If you have identified this, because it's hard, this is the person you love this person, but for this gaslighting thing, what do? Now you're in this marriage relationship. Maybe when you were courting, you were naive about things, or you overlooked it for whatever reason. Now you're in this marriage relationship and it's doubled, tripled even. You would have to still sit and talk about things. Firmly but calmly assert your feelings and perception. They may not want to hear it, but say it anyways. Don't just keep quiet and not say stuff. Because sometimes once you say it, they may fight you and all of that. They will go back and think about what you've said. But if you haven't said anything, you're just keeping quiet for peace sake, they will go away and feeling like, yes, I've conquered, so to say, and they'll come back and do worse the next time. Set boundaries, assert your feelings and your perception, no matter how different it is to your spouse. At least it's your opinion, it's what you're feeling. Refuse to engage in arguments that twist the truth or deny the reality. Because if you know them, this is a habit of theirs, this is what they do. Don't engage. The moment you see the signs coming, you can walk away and leave it for another day. Don't like, you see, you're running off now because your imagination, I don't know what you're thinking in your head, and they even make things worse. Things like that, don't let it stick to your ears because it will only aggravate anger and all of that. You know them. You're just praying that God will touch their heart. They will see what they're doing to you. And you, if you're the one doing that, please calm down. Your spouse is a human. They have an identity. They have a voice as well. It doesn't matter whether it's a man or the woman doing this gaslighting we're talking about, but we need to address it. And again, you might have to seek support depending on how intense it is in that relationship. Talk to trusted friends, family members that you trust. Underline trust, not just anybody, because they might make things worse. You might go and say, okay, I need to talk to you about this. Please, me and my husband, we need this counseling or whatever. And then they've gone to, they're now the town crier. They've gone to go and cry all over, everywhere. Everybody knows your business. I'm not talking of people like that. You know the people in your life that you can actually trust. You know friends you can actually trust. Or better still, seek a therapist, a counselor. Because outside perspective can provide clarity and validation. Like I said, some people may not know they're doing this, and because you don't even have the guts to face them, you're always gaslighting me. I don't like it. You can't even say that. It might take a third party to help them see what they're doing. So don't shy away from counseling if possible. Or sometimes you may have to join like a support group for individuals experiencing emotional manipulation. There's so many organizations who help. You can Google them in your locality, in your communities, and sometimes you can join them online. You don't even have to go there in person if you don't want anybody to see you. And online, you don't have to put your camera on and things like that. So get the help that you need instead of suffering in silence. Because if we don't address it, it grows. It grows, it becomes bigger. And then it would explode when you least expect. So let's address it the moment we see the signs and all of that. And again, confront the issue. Address the behavior with your spouse in a non-confrontational way. You might have to get creative, guys, so that they can hear you and not probably see you. Because when they see you like this, the power comes over them. They need to want to gaslight again. So if you have to write a long letter or something, start with the good they do and all of that. In the middle of the letter, write how you feel. So you can use statements such as, I feel hurt when my feelings are dismissed. Instead of, you're always there. Because too wrong does not make it right. So you need them to see that there's something wrong. How are you passing across your message? How are you confronting your spouse about this? So you need to be creative as well. Suggest couples counseling or therapy to address underlying issues if need be. I feel hurt. My feelings are dismissed. This is how I feel. And sometimes they may hear you, sometimes they may not hear you. But when you write it down, at least it will take time to read what you have written. Perhaps it might just sink in. There are other ways you can do this, but this is just one of the many anyways. Again, prioritize your well-being. Look, like I said, they say old habits die hard. Somebody is in their 40s. Now you want them to change this attitude. It may not just be that easy. We're not going to give up, but just have that mindset that it will take some time. So in order for you to still love them, be in that relationship, also managing this or trying to talk about it, look after yourself. Focus on self-care. including physical health, mental wellness, and spiritual growth if you have to. If you're a spiritual person, let your anchor in your faith hold you whilst you're going through this or whilst you're sorting this out. The Lord is near to those who are broken hearted and saves as much as have a contrite spirit. You can pray about it. Pray for your spouse. Pray. It's only God that can turn any man's heart anyways, because I believe in healing and restoration, which is where I'm coming to, healing and restoration. So if you're the one you feel you've been gaslit all the time, rebuild self-confidence through affirmations, therapy, or spiritual engagement. Don't lose yourself in that space. Find ways to rebuild your confidence. Find ways to have self-esteem again, self-worth. Remember the days before you got into that relationship, how you were, life going, life bubbly, and all of those things. And all of a sudden, it's like somebody punctured that balloon that was bubbling in you because of their attitude. So please, please, please build your self-confidence. You might have to wake up and say, you know what, despite whatever anybody's doing to you or with you or whatever, I am confident. I am this, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Use the word of God as your source of affirmation. Say it out loud to yourself. I am confident. I am this, especially when you're being manipulated to think you're who you are not again, just because you're in that relationship with them. Meditate on God's word. Talk about his truth to yourself. How does God see you? Does God value you? Yes, you are valued. You are worth something. You are worthy. Not what the other person is saying, to gaslight you into believing you're who you are not, and then you're having fear in your mind and all of those things. No, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. That's what my Bible says to me anyways. So for the person gaslighting the other spouse, acknowledge and repent from the harmful behavior. Because like I said, these things are learned. They are learned. They are picked up somehow by error or by mistake or whatever. You need to acknowledge that this is what you do, especially when somebody is saying to you, you do this. Because what's the point of lying? And it's affecting them, and that's why they're crying out. So don't feel they're crying wolf, wolf, wolf. No. Listen to what that person is saying, that person in your life. Who else would you listen to if not your husband or your wife? So even if you think they've gotten it wrong, still sit and talk about it and let them understand that you're not gaslighting them. Even if it appears so, talk about it. That's the only way your spouse can understand. Big Sugar, I see you. Thanks for joining. Malay Seller, Male Seller, whichever one, thanks for joining. So commit to change. You can go through counseling. You can go find someone you can be accountable to, who can caution you, or someone who can help you to grow spiritually. Because when you're a faith person, you want to please God. In pleasing God, this gaslighting we're talking about will not please God, let alone your spouse. So you want to do things right by your spouse and God, so that you can have peace in your mind. My Bible says in Proverbs 28 verse 13, it says, he who covers his sins will not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them will have mercy. Sometimes you, as a perpetrator, you might even have to apologize to your spouse and tell them, oh, it was never intended. Apologize, you're sorry. And please check me. Anytime you feel, please, talk to me. If your spouse speaks that way, they're truly repentant and they want to make amends and they want to change. So be there to help your spouse as well. No matter how long it takes, you're in it together until that thing becomes a thing of the past. They are no longer in it because they're conscious now. They're intentional about how they speak to you, how they treat you, and all of that. And again, it's important if you're in a courtship relationship, if you're in a marriage relationship, either way, you need to know when to seek help or to walk away for a while. Because, you can't say because of that alone, you're going to walk away from your marriage of how many years you've been building and all of that, when you've probably never even talked about it. But you need to be wise. You have to deal with things. You can't just be in denial or shy away from it. Seek help. If both partners are willing to work on that relationship, professional counseling can help address behavior and heal the marriage. I'm going to say this, and I say it very lightly: walking away, because sometimes it could be very grievous, the level of gaslighting somebody may be involved in. If gaslighting persists despite efforts to resolve it, or if the victim's safety is at risk, I would suggest separation. Some people may go to the extent of divorce. I'm not for that. If it's necessary, I don't know, it's up to you, I guess. But yeah, you could separate for a while. And the danger in separation is, are you both seeking help? Don't just separate and go and be living life with somebody and you're not working towards that problem in that relationship. Oh, thank you so much, Kotola. I see you. Good evening. Long time no see. Wow, it's been ages. Happy New Year, by the way. So I'm just seeing you for the first time this year. I hope you're good. So if you must separate, it's something you have to sit down, talk about it, why you're going to separate. And at the end of the day, when you have a serious talk, you might not even need to separate. But if you must separate because of the intensity of being gaslit in that relationship, talk about your plans. Talk about the effort you're going to put in, both of you. Talk about things. Don't just leave things unsaid, because assumptions are never positive most times. They might sit there and say, I'm getting help now. I don't know whether they're getting help. And then you're talking to them, you want to ask, how was your therapy, or how was your this? And they're like, why are you asking me? That is not going to help. Sometimes I don't know, this is our behavior. May our behavior not ruin our marriages. Talk about things. If you must separate, make sure you're seeking help together, even if it's individually. Be accountable to one another and check in from time to time if you must. It is well. I'm going to say this before I round up now, because there's so many type of people listening in right now or who will come back and watch my video later. If you're facing gaslighting, know that you are not alone. Oh, Theresa, I see you. Know that you are not alone. Your experiences and feelings are valid, and God sees your pain. I must say, God sees your pain. He often offers comfort, guidance, and the strength to overcome. That's if you believe in God. That's if you believe. That's why I say this is where I draw my strength from, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. Isaiah 41:10. It says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This is God's word for me, especially those who may have faced separation because of this issue or topic we're talking about today. God said he would help you. Seek help. Seek spiritual help if you must. Anyhow you get your healing, as long as it's a positive way, seek help. Get healed. Own you and be you. Be confident in you. Let your self-esteem come back. Dudu Zile, I see you. Thanks for joining. Oba Akpa, I see you. Thanks. And Lisha, you're welcome. So in my conclusion today, because like I said, I'm mindful of time. Yeah, I did it. Gaslighting in marriage is a destructive form of manipulation that can undermine the trust, love, and the mutual respect that is meant to be enjoyed in that relationship. However, with awareness, boundaries, and support, it is possible to address this behavior and seek help. Seek healing, seek help, seek counseling. So whether through restoration or walking away, from a harmful relationship, one thing that I know is that God's love and guidance are always present. It's always present. He said he'll never leave us nor forsake us, no matter what we're going through. So let us strive for marriages that reflect God's design, because God created the marriage institution. Whether some believe or not, he created this institution. He's the one that can help us through it. He's the one that can help us through it. You know, his design for marriage is where truth, love, and respect will reign supreme, both from husband to wife, wife to husband. And I pray that God will help us, whether we're going through this, whether we're the perpetrator, whether we're the victim. I pray that God will give us deep, deep understanding so that we don't gaslight our spouses in our marriage relationship. That is where I'm going to drop the pen or the mic today. So my one question before I take a very short break and I bring us up is, should couples gaslight each other in order to have their ways? Should couples gaslight each other in order to have their ways? Thank you. Oh, Afe, I see you. Yes, that's why Inside is here to bring hope, to make us feel all right in our marriage relationships, in our individual lives. And that's my prayer, really. We love marriage, we love relationships, you know, but it's hard work. And when we're not physically, mentally, emotionally prepared for it, we will just go and do and undo in that relationship. So we need to be conscious of what we do, especially to our spouses in that relationship. Don't feel because they've packed their bags and baggages from their parents that you're not living together, because you know it's embarrassing to go back. You're going to show them pepe in that marriage. No, why would you marry someone to gaslight them? You know, so maybe you don't know. I'm asking, let's pay attention. Let's self-reflect. How are we treating one another? Do you manipulate just to have your way, and in the process you bring down your spouse? Come up, please send your invite. Let us talk some more about this so we can learn and do better and live a better life to enjoy the goodness of marriage. Let's see. I don't know who is there. Send an invite in. I want us to talk about this today because it's very crucial. And you know, these are topics or issues that breaks up a marriage relationship. It does when unattended to. And you just find out that, how did we get here? Because you've left things, you know, for so long without addressing it. Any Fanny, Kemi, I see you. Thanks for joining. It's amazing. It's amazing. Some things, of course, we don't plan for in marriage, but hey, alas, here we are. Sometimes it could be issues of life, people not knowing how to deal with life, and all they know is, or to feel better, they have to gaslight their spouses. It makes them feel somewhat better, you know, and it shouldn't be so at the expense of your spouse's happiness. Why should we do that, or why do we want to do that? It's not a way to live. Woman of purpose, you have to come up. I'm supposed to hand over to you. I've sent an invite. I don't know whether it's gotten to your side. Kenneth, I've also sent an invite. Come up, guys. Let's talk about these things. Let's not shy away from it, because I'm daring us to talk about this now. We know these are issues that affect a marriage relationship. And sometimes we're just in there enduring and enduring and enduring. And then when we can't take it no more, we just go straight for divorce sometimes. You know, no, let's talk about things. When you notice anything out of the normal and is bringing discomfort, is bringing anxiety, you and your spouse, you're in that relationship, you should be free to open up to your spouse, to say to them how you're feeling. And it could be what is it now? It could be a misunderstanding. Who knows? But don't just leave there and say, oh, it's not that bad. You just leave it. And then another time, it's okay, still mine. And then you keep leaving it until it comes full force and you're wondering, why are you doing this? But you've left things undone, unsaid. And they feel, well, they got away with it the last time. Why can't they get away with it again? And then, you know, when these things happen, you and I know the end of the matter, as they say. So it's not something we should be quiet about. It's something we need to address subtly, yet openly, honestly, you know. And hopefully we hear one another, we try to understand one another. We don't just dismiss their feelings, like you shouldn't be feeling this way, why are you feeling this way, it's not justified, you're just imagining things, and all those kind of talk is not going to help in that conversation at all. Because the spouse, the moment they feel you're not hearing them, they will just stop talking altogether, or they might just play deaf and dumb or just walk away from whatever, because they know you just want to talk, you don't want to hear them, or just want to manipulate them, and they're not having it, so they won't want to talk. And then what happens in that marriage relationship? Where do you go from there? I don't know why the thing is dropping you, my dear sis. Let's see. Hopefully it
I'm
stays.
playing. I'm playing around with technology today. Don't worry.
How are you? Good evening.
I'm good. Good evening. Wow.
It is well.
Hey, we have not recovered from our last topic.
Hey, I
You
said,
went
God, why?
deeper. You went deeper.
Oh, we're not joking. This is 2025. We are not
I'm telling
joking.
you, we're on fire. We're on fire.
So, you know, I mean,
Wow.
these are things we shy away from talking about them, and it's affecting homes, it's affecting marriages. And some children are probably growing up in this we're talking about, thinking, it's the way of life here.
Mm.
So yeah, let's talk about it.
It's definitely not the way. I mean, it's. I'm just thinking about it. Like,
I know.
it's a learned behavior. Definitely, it's a learned behavior because it has this reward, and the person, gets used to that reward system, and it's difficult also for the person who's getting gaslighted because they become codependent
Mm-hmm.
on the person. So it's, I think for me, most of the time, people that are in that kind of relationship, it's hard for them to see it, and sometimes they will need the help of other people that might be seeing it to kind of step in and have a chat and say, something is not quite right here. Because I'm just thinking, like, how you described it. If you feel manipulated, you don't even trust your judgments, you don't trust your decision, you don't trust anything.
Wow.
Where would you get that strength to even think that something is wrong? Because
Absolutely.
it
Yeah.
becomes normal to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, I feel like people have to be looking out for these things, and when we see it, we have to know how difficult it is for the person that they're relying on us to kind of talk to them and help them to see it in a compassion and sensitive way, you know, because to them they're in a loving relationship. The person cares about them,
Wow.
because most of the time what happens is the person will make you feel like, you know what, you can't do nothing for yourself. You need me to make decisions for you because even you your mind is not working.
I know. Hey, it's not it's not a good place to be in a
It's not.
marriage.
It's not. It's not a good place to be. Honestly, it's. I think out of all the abuse that we talk about, especially this coercive thing, is the
Yeah.
worst because that in the deepness of the emotional
Yeah.
and distortion of somebody's ideology, identity, self belief, confidence that gets so broken down.
That's
It's
the
very
that's the entity of that person, like, gone.
gone, and it's very hard. Like, I'm just trying to put myself in somebody else's shoes like that. How would you even see it? You can't even see it because often the person will make you think, oh, if you don't trust their decision, what they're telling you, then you don't love them or you don't trust them,
I
and that you
know.
think they want to harm you. But that's what they're doing.
That's bad.
Oh, honestly, it's torment. It's torment. It's torment. It's not a very good place to be. But we pray to God that anyone who's going through that,
Mm.
will start seeing, because I think something always happens and that person will even question that, there's something quite not right here, you know.
Yeah.
So I just hope that when people bring it to their attention, they will listen and see that it comes from a place of love, not a place of judgment.
But woman of purpose is like sometimes you don't know. It's like as you're talking, I was just thinking of instances where maybe like couples time out or you're with other couples. And sometimes you can even identify these things when some couples
Mm-hmm.
are talking or addressing each other. And you can't say anything. Everybody just kind of overlooks it, and because it's not something you want to address publicly as such, even if you notice that, if to even call your friend aside to say, yo, it's hard.
It's hard. That's what I'm saying. It's hard because you're basically trying to say to somebody, your relationship is dysfunctional. Your relationship has got issues,
Nobody
and
wants to hear that.
nobody wants to hear that. First of all, even if they feel like there's something wrong, they're not going to admit to that there is. But that's why I'm trying to say that, I think in that circumstances, you have to approach it in a delicate way. Pray, and see God's guidance because it's difficult. And I think even if you do say something and a person reacts in anger or in a way, just accept it that it's because it's difficult for them to accept it. It's difficult for them to accept it.
Bitter, as they say, the truth is bitter.
Yeah. And
Bitter.
often it's only when that person is moved away that the gaslight person is being removed for, like, maybe you take them away on holiday or you take them away, you spend some time with them, and then they realize that, or they see other people's relationship and they'll be like, well, my relationship is not like that, like, what's going on here? And that starts, like you said, like it's like someone is pinching the balloon, making a little dent inside it, and then the air starts coming out and they start thinking, oh, maybe there is something wrong here. But it's very difficult for people to come out of it or even to recognize it's happening because it happens so subtly that, and it grows and becomes the environment.
But do
You
you
know,
think do you think before it even gets to a marriage relationship, these things could not have been identified in that courtship?
it can, but what I said to you, we talked when we talked last week about thingy, it happens so subtly that I think
Ah,
unless you are aware of these things, because it can be masked as love, it can be masked as I care about you.
yeah,
It can
they
be
care
masked
about
as,
you. They have
yeah, oh,
your
I care
interest
about
at
you.
heart.
Yeah, I care about you. That's why I'm telling you that your friends are no good. I care about you. That's why you know, I'm doing these things.
Yeah.
You, or they blame you for their reactions. Like you said, it's like the projection, their reaction to things, and it's all of a sudden it's your fault. Like I behave like that because you behave like this, and you're like, like, so are you trying to say that you got no self control? You know.
Yeah.
So I think you can kind of sometimes see it, but the problem why people fall into it, because it doesn't happen drastically. It happens gently, and they build on it. And
And
before you,
God helping you that the first few times they persuade you to do something else, it works. And it's like, oh, in fact, you even trust them some more. You
yeah,
rely so much on them, not knowing that manipulation is coming around the
yeah,
corner.
you
Yeah,
know. So
yeah.
I guess the thing is, we have to know ourselves, and we have to know that marriage does not mean that you can't disagree with your partner or have different opinions.
Of
You know what
course.
I'm saying? Any healthy relationship, you're gonna disagree, but you have to learn to disagree and agree to disagree, as they say it.
That's
That
true.
you see it differently and I see it differently, and that's fine. It's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. And I think knowing these things will help you to kind of maybe stay strong and not fall into those traps. But like I said, it just starts so subtly. I think the biggest one is what maybe when something's happened and then the person is telling you no, it did not happen, and you're like question your mind,
Oh my.
which, no, but I remember it happening and you said this, and they're like, no, it never happened that way, and you're just thinking,
Oh, that didn't
And,
even happen at all. Then you be like, ah.
and I guess human nature is when doubt creeps in your head, you automatically just go, okay, maybe I was wrong, and you accept it, and you think, okay, maybe I
Especially
was wrong.
when you're the type that you're not confrontational, you don't like arguments. You quickly succumb like, oh, okay, okay, it
I
didn't
want
happen.
peace. I want peace, so let me not.
So
That's what they were saying. I want peace.
That
You
you're
know,
not helping. You're not even helping your spouse because if you do that and it becomes a constant thing, oh, they will always gaslight you.
well,
They
this
will
is the thing,
always.
isn't it? Gaslighters look for your weakness and they use your weakness to manipulate you to gain control of you and get you to do things that it benefits them. That's simple how it is. So like you said, knowing yourself and accepting that, you can have conflict and conflicts can be resolved. It's not always about brushing things under the cover and not facing things, under the mat. Sometimes you have to.
Oh yeah.
So if and stand your ground, and there's nothing wrong with it. You can stand your ground in a diplomatic way. It doesn't have to cause fights. Doesn't have to, But you say to the person, I know that what I'm saying to you happened.
But you know
You know,
what? Another thing that came to mind is our culture. Culture indulges gaslighting.
of course.
Because the reason why I said that, as you're talking, it just came to mind. I just saw this picture in my head. I don't know where it's come from. Like everything, culture now, husband being the head, the wife being the wife, and all. Anything, everything your husband says, culturally, you dare not question it. You just have to do it. Even if it's against what you believe in, it's against what you want to say. No, no, no. You must do it because of culture. And then a lot
Definitely.
of people, yeah, they are in this, they're abused this way without having a voice. So I do understand it could be hard.
Definitely. Definitely. But like I said, if we actually teach that in a marriage you're allowed, you should allow your spouse to have a different opinion. You should allow your spouse to express
In
their
fact,
opinions.
you question them if they don't have a different opinion all the time.
Yeah, if they exactly, if they always agree with you, then there's a problem there
You
because
always
it's like,
agree with me. I want to hear what you have to say. In
no,
fact,
whatever
don't
you
agree with
say,
me.
darling. No, whatever you say, darling, it's fine. Whatever you
Oh,
say,
darling, never fine.
whatever you want, darling.
It's
Whatever.
okay. It's not funny at all. I mean, you don't have a say. They are having a discussion with you. They want to hear your views. And you're like, in fact, what the head of my neck, whatever you say.
It's fine. Exactly. But then that's what that person comes from a place where they've been taught not to even think or have a thought or an idea for themselves. So that comes down to the person that, your identity, there's a flaw in it because you should be able to think. God is giving you a brain for you to think for yourself as well. You have a duty to yourself to think, and there's nothing wrong with you having different opinions. That is fine. Sometimes even out of the different opinions, you can both learn something from each other. You know. So
Definitely.
I think it comes down with the person, like we're saying, you have to work within yourself, and at least when you know yourself, understand your value, understand your role as a husband and as a wife, then these things will not happen because, like you were talking about the Bible
Yeah.
and what marriage is, and how God does not like people to, manipulate and to lie and use deception and all this because it's against God. God is about love. God is about being honest. God is about being kind and being good. How is that any what you just talk about? That's
No.
like, and it doesn't look anything like that. So you doing that, you know, it's going totally against. You're not even helping your partner to grow. You're actually stopping your partner from growing because you're not giving them that room for them to have their own ideas, be their own selves and stuff like that. And that's not what marriage is supposed to be. That's not what a relationship is supposed to be. You bring in the two of you coming together is bringing in different experiences, different knowledge, different skill mix, so that it's like when you're cooking. If you're cooking a meal, you don't want everything to be tasting the same. What would it taste like?
I wonder.
If everything tastes like water, what would it be the point? But you add all the different flavors so that when you taste that, you're like, this marriage tastes good because we got all different spices in here. We're mixing, we're going, we're benefiting each other, and I think that's the thing. So it goes down, like you said, about people learning these things, these fundamental things. I know we have to relearn things because sometimes culture has taught us how to, yeah, have taught us the wrong things, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not helpful for us. So we need to relearn. Like I said, I love what you said about relearning. If you've learned it, relearn it.
Unlearn it and relearn the right thing.
That's it. Unlearn it and relearn the right thing, and that's it. And there's room for that. And I think anybody who wants to change and grow, we can accept, look at, self-reflect in ourselves and say, okay, I've learned something bad. I've now become aware that this thing that I've learned is not a good thing. Let me put action on the ground and change. And it takes time, because when you've learned something for a long time, it's going to take you time to change. But however, making conscious decision that you're going to intentionally change, people will see that in you,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and then they will receive you with compassion. But if you're not accepting your fault, and I think that's part of the gaslighting thing, that those people sometimes don't want to accept their faults and their mistakes, you know. So then they start covering and projecting it on you. So now all of a sudden their badness and weakness has become you.
I know.
It's
It's
like,
all
how did that happen?
you're that kingdom come, it's gonna be your fault. So if you like, keep quiet.
You know? So yeah, definitely. It's a very difficult topic, but it exists and we have to talk about it. I think the more we talk about it, the more people become aware of it, the
Yeah.
more people can take actions to change. You know, because both partners have to change. To be honest with you, like you said, I love what you said, that even when you separate and you give each other a break, you both need to do work within yourselves. And you both need to heal from that experience.
Honesty.
So yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Well,
You know the
anyone
hardest
can-
part. I'm gonna say the hardest part is saying it because it's heavy. Thinking of it alone. How do you say it to your spouse? How would they take it? You know, because these are things of I don't know how to put it. Heavy. That's all I can say is heavy. But not
you
talking about it. How do we want to live in that marriage as well?
Yeah, but that's like I said, first of all, you need to be aware the person is doing it. Sometimes it can, it's not like, okay, sometimes you can do something like gaslighting, like once, maybe mistakenly, like you said, maybe you forgot that something happened, or you forgot that you put something there. But it's when it's consistent, and that thing is happening, over and over again, then you know there's something going on. This is not just a mistake. This is something that someone is doing intentionally,
Yeah.
you know. But I think, like you said, when you realize, okay, this is happening, it's happening now. Maybe the third time, you're like, okay, so it's not me no more, because I can remember 3 incidents of these things happening. We need to have.
Woman of purpose, you don't understand. He just got married 6 months ago. Don't
Uh,
start telling him you're gaslighting me already.
ah, even when you're dating, you should. If someone's gaslighting,
Hello
you need to address
everyone.
it.
Hello
You
everyone. Good
hi,
afternoon.
Hey, you're welcome.
welcome. Even if you're dating and someone's gaslighting you, you need to address it, because why are you going to wait until you get? No, you need to address it, because you know what, gaslighting even happens in friendship and everything. You need to address that, because
Hello, Andre.
if you don't address it, people will just keep doing it, thinking that is normal. So you have to address it. You know.
Imagine
So
you're just starting life. If you don't address it the earlier, the better for you.
ah,
Hey, because otherwise, your spouse might even start like 5 years. You waited 5 years to tell
yeah.
me. Hey, another gaslight on top of gaslighting.
You never complained before when I said that to you. Now you're complaining. What happened? What's changed?
You know, like,
It must be those friends of yours that you've been talking to, isn't it? It's them.
oh,
It's them.
oh.
Mm-hmm.
Or
You see?
that your sister, that your brother I don't like.
Yes.
They're not happy for you. And
They're
then you
not happy
just
for you.
taking stuff in your mind, yeah? Oh my goodness. It is
Yes.
tough.
Definitely.
Paula Crown, I see you. It's amazing.
So, is it Andre? Is gonna speak?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's ask.
Hi, Andre. Good
Andre, I am
evening.
okay. What's wrong
Oh,
with
I'm not
you?
okay. Oh, what's up?
Wow. Andre, talk to us.
Hello.
Or maybe you want to talk. I can read.
Yeah, you can type it in the chat.
You are welcome. Let's invite my dear sister here. Let's see as well. So, Andrew, what is the matter? Talk to us. You're here on Insight and you're welcome.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe you come back. Okay. Yeah. Honestly,
I know it's a very expensive one, but I don't think it will chase
it
people
is.
away like this.
It is. It is. You know, I mean, you're thinking like, for example, let's say you put something down and the person tells you, "No, you never put that thing there," and you're like, "I know I put." That.
You know, sometimes it sounds silly, but this thing, if it sparks an argument, as well.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. It's that psychological thing that you can't even trust your memory anymore. You can't even trust. You can't trust anything. I remember I watched a movie where this man used to drug his wife.
Wow.
I can't remember what the movie's called. It was a movie. And like obviously she'll wake up and then she doesn't remember anything and he'll be like, no, no, no. All she always remembers was that she she'll have dinner. She'll have memory until dinner time and then he'll drug her and then she don't remember anything and she'll wake up. So in the end, she started going to see this counselor and the counselor told her to start making recordings, like you said about writing things down. That is actually something, writing it or recording. So she used to make recordings of her day, like I did this and I did that and this, and then she recorded it and my card is here, my this, because literally she'll wake up the next day and she will not remember.
Anything. Wow.
But if she listens to the tape, it gives her a summary of what's happened the day before. So she then is up to this thing. And it was just like, can you imagine living that kind of life? Like,
God.
if it wasn't for that therapist,
Mm.
and she had to hide the what do you call the recorder and everything. Yes, she have to hide it somewhere. And so when she wakes up, she's got it written somewhere. Go and check this. I mean, like the amount of work it goes into it, it just makes you realize how much you are lost. To wake up every day and not remember who you are.
Oh my God. That is evil.
That is someone stealing your life.
But why? Why do they do that? It makes me wonder. Because sometimes you watch these movies, it's somebody else's reality.
Well, yes, yes. I think I'll come trying to remember why the guy was doing it, but I think he was just trying to get control of her things, her properties and stuff. So that's what he was doing, and obviously he wanted her to appear like she's lost diminution of responsibility, so that when she's found like she's got lacking mental capacity, then he'll be made, to take control of her financial and decision making, isn't it? So it's that same again. It's the control. They want to gain control,
Yeah, I guess.
you know. But like you said, sometimes these things you watch it, you think, oh, it's just a movie, but that's some people's reality.
God,
Hello, Andre, you back?
Yes, I am back.
what happened?
Oh,
Yeah. Huh?
What happened to you? You wrote on there that you're not okay, so I'm asking what happened. You're far away. You're sounding far away. Can you speak?
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
It sounds like you're far away from your device. Oh, so okay, I'll try and bring him back. Heartbeat 77, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
good evening.
Happy Thursday to you. I think, or maybe it's his link problem.
Well, I have a serious connection problem because my phone is not working too good. Well, I am not really okay,
Tell
you know,
me now. We
because
can hear you clearly now.
all right. Sorry, my name is Andrew McFarlane from Jamaica. I am from Jamaica.
You're
Past
welcome.
my
This is your
past.
first time on Insight.
Yes, first time here.
Hey, welcome. It's good to have you here. You're welcome. Oh, I think that network is really poorly indeed.
I know. Yeah, it keeps coming in and out. Okay.
Okay, keep
Heartbeat.
trying.
Yeah.
And keep trying.
Yeah. Heartbeat. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
So
Fine.
I'm good. We're good. It's come back. Oh, oh.
He's not
sorry
giving up.
about that, guys.
It
Sorry
will be
about that.
fine. Everything will be fine.
My internet is not working too good, so I supposed to start a reading class in Jamaica, and
Oh,
I cannot go because I was doing some job and I get fired.
oh,
So
sorry to hear that.
I supposed to start school on Monday, and so I do not have the funds to go, so I just praying about it and see what God can do, because them said long as I pray, God answer prayer. So I am
Amen.
praying
Yeah.
about it.
Okay.
Because honestly, I am not going around going and beg anybody nothing, but you see, if someone want to bless me, and
Hmm.
can go ahead and bless me, but I am
Okay.
not going to beg anybody nothing. And Monday I supposed to start school on Monday. So
Hmm.
my brain right now, my head is not well right now. Feel stressful.
It is well with you. It is well with you. And like you said, God can work in so many mysterious ways. Yeah. Even if you don't start on Monday, I'm just saying that. It doesn't mean you cannot still do it. Okay. Maybe at a different time so you don't put too much pressure on yourself. Yeah. Thank you for the heart to me, woman of purpose. So yeah, you're welcome to Insight all the same. It's good to have you here. Maybe if you listen, chat with us. I don't know. Hopefully your network will let you stay. Otherwise, yeah, you're welcome to Insight. This is your first time here. Welcome. I don't know if you have anything to say to this topic we're talking about, or you just want to give us your moral support whilst in the box is good. I don't know if you have anything to say to this topic we're talking about, or you just want to give us your moral support whilst in the box is good by me.
What that mean?
So can you see the
What
topic
is it?
on the screen? Yeah.
No, I cannot read properly.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about gaslighting in a marriage. So I asked a question about it. I'm like, should couples gaslight each other in order to have their ways? Do you think it's a good thing to do?
Hey!
You can think about it. I don't know if you want to say
Well,
anything. Yeah,
well,
hello.
well.
You can.
I do not married. I do not married before. I do not married as it. So I not ever have a clue what to
Sorry, I didn't
ever
get
married.
that.
No, I do not married. So I do not know what to talk, how
Yeah,
to
but
talk about.
don't you have a relationship or maybe past relationship? You can
Well, I
reflect.
don't. Well, I don't have a relationship right now.
Oh dear, it's okay. It's okay. We're here to learn regardless. Just in case you might start one relationship tomorrow, so you can know if your spouse or partner is gaslighting you. These are things to look out for in a relationship, anyways. Whether you're married or not, I mean, it can occur not just in a marriage a relationship alone. So it's okay, it's okay, thank you. So maybe we'll go to heartbeat. I can see two bars. We don't want to lose heartbeats, please.
Tonight, our internet.
Hey, Lord have mercy.
Heartbeat. Good evening. I
Oh,
think you
there's
might.
a call. I think it might be on the call or something.
Oh,
Okay, it's back.
it's back.
I'm moving to a place that will be stable. So please
Okay.
give me just about
No
5 minutes.
problem.
I'll
No
Okay.
get to a
problem. No
more
When you're
stable.
ready, let us know. So thank you
Yes.
so much for joining in. Hey, all my elders have abandoned me here today.
They will
Oh.
come. They will come. They will come. Don't worry.
I was hoping that we will not do 4 hours, 5 hours today. Oh.
You know what's gonna happen when it's getting to that time. That's when everyone will start coming in.
I know, but then, and you want them to say something. Oh my goodness, I'm even happy that my, what is it called? My YouTube is allowing me to upload almost the 5 hours, which is good.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
I think the
That's
more
good.
you post, the more you can post longer videos, which is,
Oh,
I was
thank God for that.
surprised really. So yeah, so people can go back and watch it. You
That's
know,
great.
sometimes I say even if it's one person or so, at a good time we might round up and call it a day. I mean, at least I've given my talk, I've done my own assignments.
You're happy you've done your assignments.
You know, so because I know some topics, it might just hit it hard home for some people, and even your regulars might not be able to, or they might be at work, or could be anything
Yeah.
really. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't want us to just stay on air for staying on her sake. So we
Well, let's see. Let's see how it goes. It's too early time,
yeah,
so
I
let's
know.
see.
Yeah, I'm just saying, so we know that. Hey,
Yeah.
13, good to see you. I hope you are good. And thank you so much for tapping. I can see in fact he has helped us take the tapping up. Editor Fisher, I see you. Thank you for joining. I hope you're good. How's your day? Please, Editor, you can come up and share one or two things with us. You know,
Yes.
sometimes because people feel we're talking about marriage talk, so they're not married or they're not in a relationship, so no. But these are things people can learn, they can learn from, and you probably know one or two or three people that are married, and you may have seen some signs in their relationship as well. Who knows? So no knowledge is lost, as they say. So feel free. Let
All
me
to
see
gain.
if she can
All
come
to
up.
gain.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
It's all to gain. And these things happen
Yes,
outside of
mom,
marriage
let me
anyway.
call the Fisher. Hey, sister IJ. Wow. This August visitor in January. How are you, sis? How are you? How is Pastor as well and the family? I hope you're good. Oh my goodness. How many years is that? Jeez. Honestly, Sir IJ, I can't remember the last time we saw. I think it was in City Church in one of them old venues, to be honest with you. It's been years. You're great. Oh, thank God. Wow. Wow, wow. It's good to have you here. I really love to have you in the box. Maybe you can give us some words of wisdom because these are my organs when you're talking about marriage. Wow. Please, 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 Pastor IJ, it'd be nice to have, I mean, to hear from you, really. We're talking about gaslighting in a marriage, and usually I give a talk, and I'm finished with my talk, and I'm just bringing people up to share their own submissions. I trust you and yours are well. We are good. We thank God. We are good. Wow. I'm in awe right now. Thank you so much for joining us today, ma'am. And Okanem, I see you. Thanks for joining. Please send an invite if you have any contributions you want to share with us, or any experiences you want to share with us, or you have some nuggets how we can deal with gaslighting in a marriage relationship or in a relationship, really. Dewa, I see you. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're good. So I'm gonna look for you. Let me see if I can bring her up. No, I can't. Openem, please, let's hear from you as well. Hey, my Oga had it. How are you, sir? It's good to see your face.
I'm
Somebody
fine.
open their camera today. Hallelujah. Wow, thank you. So it's not just me, thank God. You're welcome, Okenem. You're welcome to the side. So, the floor is yours, Heartbeat. We'd love to hear from you. Gaslighting in a marriage relationship. What is your take? Should couples gaslight each other in order to have their ways? I don't know.
Thank you for the opportunity to be on your show once again.
Thank you, sir, for coming.
And also, let me say Hello to everyone here
Mm,
and all those in the comment section and FYP.
thank you.
I think that every marriage related subject is of much consequence to every one of us. Because even if we are not products of marriages, we are products of some relationship between men
And
and
women.
women.
Yeah.
So anything relating to relationships between the opposite sex
Mm,
has much benefits to every one of us.
yeah.
Gaslighting has become one of the issues of concern in recent marriages.
Wow. True.
In the past, women were more culpable of gaslighting,
No.
but it looks like these days it has become very common for both spouses
Mm,
to gaslight
each other.
just so that they can have their own way. What I know of our women in the past
Mm,
was when the traditional concept is they will wear trousers to bed, and it is intended to compel you to yield
oh.
just so that
Okay.
you will comply with their directives.
Mm.
Otherwise, you are not going to have your way. I think that is gaslighting.
Yeah.
You are trying to manipulate your partner
Mm.
just so that
Oh yeah.
you could have your way, and that certainly is not right.
Mm-mm.
So, like I said, historically, most women have used that as a means to get things from their partners.
Mm.
Even in the regular side chick,
Matthew.
boyfriend girlfriend relationship,
Yeah.
they cease to offer what you demand the most from them.
Mm.
Sometimes it's not necessarily sex, but some attention. Sometimes going out with them to some places of importance and interest to you. They refuse to do all that. And this is to manipulate you to accept their terms or to yield to their dictates.
Mm-hmm.
Some men in recent times have clearly engaged in this practice. I will not say that, and it will not be fair to say that men were never doing that. I want to think that to some extent it has been part of human life. Even children try to gaslight just so that they will get the attention of their parents.
Mm.
So it is as ancient as the human family itself is been part of mankind.
Mm.
But to talk about men and some of the ways they try to gaslight,
Mm.
you know, there are many ways you can do this, but for them, sometimes some men use intimidation, which is very bad
Yeah.
and unhealthy for the mental health of their spouses,
Mm-hmm.
because they try to intimidate you with some beating, something terrible they can do, and all that to coerce you and to compel you. In fact, I have met couple where the man has threatened the lady that if you ever dare leave me, I will kill you.
Oh, wow.
Yes. They love them so much, they want them so much, and they have to threaten. And sometimes you talk to these ladies and say, oh, don't mind him. He just say, hey, no, 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 no. My husband, he will do it.
Yes. Hmm.
They've managed to send the fear across so that they believe that they would be murdered should they make an attempt to divorce.
Wow.
Come to think of it, this is a weakling, a man who has clearly demonstrated to his wife and to as many that are privy of what is happening in their marriage, that he is a man with no self-confidence, he is a man without knowledge, he is the man who doesn't have so much capacity to keep a woman on merit, to the extent that now he would want to intimidate you as his means of keeping you to himself. The thing is that if you know what your spouse is looking for and know how to provide or meet them at the point of their expectation, certainly you wouldn't have to beat threats
At all.
for them to be committed to you. And anytime you even do that, you endanger your own self. Yes, because some woman could unalive you if they really think they want to be out of this relationship. And for fear that you would unalive them,
First.
then they would act first before you. So it's a bad thing. But in short, we are supposed to act in nobility and in dignity. And we are supposed to treat our spouses in the same manner. We have to treat them as noble and dignified human beings who deserve respect, who deserve love, and who are rational so we can reason out with them. All of us have rescinded our decision before, something we purpose to do. And even children, sometimes a child can apologize in a manner that makes you rescind your decision to proceed with the intended punishment.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see? So, yes, it is the case that when we try to dialogue and talk with a tone and appeal to good reasoning and conscience, we would have our spouses voluntarily doing everything we want them to do. In recent times, one of the greatest menace plaguing our marriages has to do with this demand for submission by men. And it's gaslighting because you see, women, a good woman doesn't want it to come in the public domain that they are not submissive. And so men ride on the back of that to manipulate them, to gaslight them, to make them feel that you are not being submissive. I always say that there is a thin line between submission and subjugation. There is a thin line between submission and suppression. And there is even the more a thin line between submission and slavery. They all begin with S and they almost sound the same, but there is a line, a very thin one, that sometimes when you cross to the other side, you do not recognize that you have done so. And this demand for submission, backed by culture and sometimes religion, seem to make men gaslight their women coming through that door. You have to be submissive. And their understanding. I chanced on one of the geos here on TikTok. I don't know his church because apparently he's in Nigeria. He said he's the general overseer. And he was saying that if you are a man and your wife controls you, you are a fool. So immediately it occurred to me that what is control in this context? What can we say to be control? A wife controlling his wife, his husband. What is the control? Then he went on to express his idea of what submission is.
Good evening.
What you want to be done in your house should be done because you are the man. When you say it, it is final. When you tell her to stand, she should stand. Sit, she should sit. Lie, she should lie. And I shook my head. You know, in the past, I wouldn't want to comment on some of the things that quote and unquote men of God are saying, even if I disagree. But lately, I think I have a lot of biblical basis and support to be able to refute these things, especially when it is in public domain. So I commented that I think his idea of submission is totally wrong, and it will place our women in the bondage that Christ seeks so much passionately to deliver our sisters, our wives, our mothers from. So yes, gaslighting has a broad ramification, and a number of us do it indirectly. But in short, it only goes to show that we are weak, because if you are strong in the mind, for me, I find it very, very, very fulfilling if I'm able to talk to my spouse, present my case, and persuade her to join me in a particular course of action. I think that it is even very sexy if you win her over to your side. So yes, by reasoning. I remember I was talking to one African American lady, a mature woman than myself. We have become friends and we talk sometimes. And she asked that, why in the first place will you want to convince your wife to do anything? Why don't you let her be?
Good to see you.
And I told her that the unity of marriage would not allow us to be doing different things in the same house. I want our child to attend this school, so I enroll him in that school, and you come and take him or her and enroll them in another school. It is madness and confusion. As a family, and especially as married couple, we should be seen doing things in common. You have your interest line, I have my interest line. I should support you with what your interest is, and you should support me. But matters of mutual benefit and interest, we always have to come together in unity, having discussed and fine tune the idea so that we can all implement it and progress. So that is my take on gaslighting. It should not be encouraged. It is a sign of weakness. We should come out with reason, appeal to conscience and good reasoning, just so that we can win them in doing things the way maybe we want it, because they would have found in our proposal, our suggestions, a better alternative than what they stand for, which is why they will abandon their position and join us. Thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to speak on your show. Thank you. Today I decided to come live because I've never been live on
Thank you.
your show.
I know. I don't know
You
why some
always see
people don't
me,
put on their cameras so we
but
see each other. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate
yes,
that.
it's like that.
Oh, thank you, and happy new year to you. Oh, okay. Thank you. Maybe next time. Okay, then. Thank you for the love and support. God bless you. Thank you. Oh, heartbeat. I don't think I can top that. Woman of purpose. Oh, yeah, I'll take over because if I start talking, you know me. I hope you're still there.
Start talking now.
You know, you know.
That was we're very comprehensive.
In fact,
You know,
yeah.
letting us know that we do that in this simplest form of it, but when it's when we talk about the one where it's intentional, is controlling, is too much. That's what we're talking about. That's not good. So I'm glad you broke it down like that. Okay, so I think the next person to speak is Oko. No.
Okanem, I think.
Okay, no. Okay, good evening, sir.
Are you there?
Might be there. Yes.
Okanem, 1-1. I think it's 1
One something, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah. Hi.
hi.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Welcome to the live.
Hi.
Hi.
So,
So
in what context are we talking about gaslighting?
just
In marriage relationship context, however, it relates to people in courtship, people in relationship generally.
So, yeah, thank you, Pastor, for your very comprehensive breakdown of gaslighting. Spoken like a true man of God, sitting on the fence. But I want to play devil's advocate here, so let's spice this place up a bit.
All right, feel free.
So, in the modern context, gaslighting has sparked from a deep point of, say, the female gender crying for help in distressful relationships.
Oh,
It's one of the buzzwords for wokeism. Am I correct?
sorry, I didn't hear that.
It's one of the buzzwords
Mm,
for wokeism.
okay.
So gaslighting happens in a lot of marriages. Sometimes triggered by men, sometimes triggered by women. Like Pastor has said, it's done by cowards and or people who don't want to comply within the confines of marriage and relationships. So, like I said, manipulative men would do that, and in the other context, manipulative women would do that to escape lack of, to escape accountability. You want to put it that way.
Yeah.
I will stop there for now. I'm not sitting on the fence, but I'll still come back with more. But let's just stop there now before I just.
So, Okanem, is it your first time on Insight?
Yeah, probably yes. I think so. I don't know. It might be my first or second.
Yeah, because the name would have come to me, even if you had been here once or twice, at least I
Yeah,
would remember.
I think I've been here once or twice. I'm very
Okay,
sure.
probably
But I'll
been a
just say,
while.
yeah, it's been a while. Yep.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. Anyways, a happy new year to you, and I hope you're good.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to add Happy New Year, everyone. Good evening, everyone, as well.
Thank you.
So
You
I'm not
too.
really good at. I
It's
don't
all
really
right.
come on TikTok that much. So
No,
yeah.
no, no. It's all right. We accept us all. Like we say here, nobody's perfect. So the fact that you came in and you came into the box to even say one or two things is more than enough. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. And just to put this there, okay, thank you, woman of God. She's put that there. I always give a talk just to put perspective into the topic, and then people can expand from there. It's just so that we're focused because sometimes people talk at tangents and we lose focus altogether. We don't want to do that here. And that's why we're doing these topical issues to address it head on.
Okay.
And after my talk, I always ask one question or two. But my one question today is what Woman of Purpose started up there. Should couples gaslight each other in order to have their ways?
Okay.
So even if you miss my talk, at least that question is something you can think about and tell us your submission really. So we can still give you time to think about it.
Okay. Yeah. Let me just finish it then.
Okay, all
So
right.
it's more clear to me now.
Okay, all
So
right.
in I think we're talking about marriages. So in marriages,
Yeah.
gaslighting is a no-no.
Okay.
So going into marriage, you should have a clear purpose, clear understanding of each other, have similar goals, and achieve your goals within marriage. Marriage does not come easy. Marriage comes with a lot of
Tell me about it.
it's a minefield, and two people that come into marriage need to be people that are driven with commitment to each other.
Mhm.
It's more than love.
Yeah.
It's more of trust. It's more of working towards a single goal.
Yeah.
It's more of taking care of each other in a sort of way.
Mm.
But that being said,
Yeah.
like I don't want to go into biblicals, but in the truest sense of the word,
Go there
one
because I
captain. No, no, I
I've
don't, I
been
don't,
there.
I don't do, I don't do biblical stuff. I don't like to go into Christianity because a
Okay.
lot of people could twist
No,
that
I'm
narrative.
just putting it out there. If you have to, it's fine by
No,
all.
no, no. I don't really like to do anything
It's
with
fine.
religion because it kind of like anybody can use religion to
Yeah, I said that
have
in
their
my talk,
narrative.
Leslie.
Yeah. So, anyways, just quickly going into it. So, it a lot of thing entails when you're married, and everybody has to have a singular goal. So, I've noticed that in most marriages, whether it's the man or the woman, that doesn't want to actually go. Everybody come like I said, everybody comes with whatever they want to come with. A lot of people don't actually know how to approach marriage, and there's a lot of selfishness within relationships. There's a lot of egos within relationship, which I feel should not be,
Thank you.
and those things fester. Sorry, there's another thing which always starts the whole thing. It's third parties in relationships, and this is where the gaslighting comes in. So when you're handing the ear to third parties within your relationship and forgetting the goals that you guys have actually agreed to achieve within your said relationship or marriage. Men tend to be more strong-willed, which should be in a marriage. A man is a leader. A man should be a leader in a marriage. But having said that, your wife is your helper. You you're not going to drag her and lead her in marriage, but you're going to go as a team. So marriage is teamwork, but the woman should understand marriage. And the word submissive triggers a lot of women. But I want to put it this way: yes, you can submit to your husband. Does not necessarily mean that you are a slave to him. So how do you submit to your husband? You actually have said, yes, I will be your wife. That means I am going to be your helper, and I will trust you to lead us to the destination we are going to. Now, this is where the whole breakdown comes in within marriages. So, in modern day, a lot of women have left their feminine element and going to the masculine element. Notwithstanding, there are men, like Pastor said, that go with culture and start to use this cultural rhetoric to control. So it's a two-way street, and it's a very, very interesting discussion, but something that we all can learn from. But I'll yield here. I'll yield here. But gaslighting is, I would say, is mainly done by people who don't want to comply to the actual narrative of what the marriage is supposed to be. So they are tired partners or whatever it is, and then they want to leave it that way. I'll submit now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Different perspective to it. At least we're gaining understanding and knowledge. And as we're hearing people give their submissions, it's always good to self-reflect. Because sometimes we don't even want to accept that we are the one that's lighting our spouses. Because sometimes, like a woman of purpose said, it can be subtle, or we're doing it. So we're not gender biased here. Anyone can be a perpetrator, in fairness. Or yeah, over to you.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, Leslie. Are you there, Elder? Second Elder.
Well, no, it's added as a second elder, except you want to give him correct.
Okay.
Good evening. This has been a day. It's been a very busy day. Good evening, panel. It's good to have to see everybody today.
I thought you people have abandoned me here.
No. It's just as a new year, everybody wants to prosper and make money, so that involves extra things happening.
I don't want to lose money.
My sister, is it inspiring us now? Yeah, the company that we're keeping, are you inspiring us? It's fine because I've started the. I was done. I did a mental health course, but I had to stop it in between our tribunal. So they've come back to me to come and complete it. So that's now been is now changing our dynamic. So everything is like everybody's now all hands on deck. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah. That's
Heartbeat 77. We have Elder Debbie and we have Elder Ade. So they have been,
that Debbie is very wise. She's a wise woman. I have to say, you know that line.
I am not married, but I have friends that are married. By the time she gives us those nuggets,
I will never forget that wisdom she dropped. Some men are kings and some men are warriors. You need to know the difference. Hey, I say, that is a powerful line. I'm not gonna forget that line, and it's so true. It's so true. It was so true. But yeah, this gaslighting thing is manipulation, and it's funny because one of the contests I did, which was a couple of years back, a lot of the training was recognizing gaslighting in carers, in care homes, and in relationships with adult and children. So we had to do so much training on that, safeguarding, especially. Oh my days! But looking back, it was a very, very, very good experience, and it was a very important thing because I even began to see that some of the things that we're calling parenting, especially in our Nigerian circles, is gaslighting. Is gaslighting. I don't even think they're aware of it. A lot of making you to feel less than, or making you to feel that creating an environment that you begin to second guess yourself. It's really such a, and sometimes people are not aware they're doing it, and sometimes may be aware of it, and it's something they've succumbed to because it becomes something that they feel it produces results for them. As bad as it is, it does produce results. And they bring that into parenting, they bring that into their marriage. So in terms of marriage, and it's both men and women, ironically, that term was first and foremost used for men who did it to their spouse. So it was first and foremost brought into that situation. And one of the things is that I've seen that in some relationships, where especially where there's verbal abuse, that is one of the things that comes out a lot, is gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
where a spouse, whether it's the male or the female spouse, wants to insinuate certain things in order to get an outcome, get a result, in a manipulative way, which is pretty much what witchcraft is. Witchcraft, in its true term, is manipulation. You know, so it's such a thing that in marriages, and it's not, gaslighting is not just abuse. It can also be a form of bullying as well.
Yeah.
It can also be a form of bullying
Mm-hmm.
where a person can tell either their wife or their husband that you are this, you are this, you are this. You begin to create a form of thinking for that person. So that is another form of gaslighting. So it's something that in marriage is a no-no, and one has to recognize it because it can grow. That's the problem with this gaslighting. That's why the term gaslighting is, because it's reference to the term that you can light something and then it can just keep growing, and you can light in different areas. So it's such a thing that if people recognize it in their marriage, they need to go and they need to get it sorted out with that person, or get some form of mediation. And unfortunately, you have to create some sort of boundary where access can no longer be provided, or you cannot access to that person cannot be right until they show that they show that there's some changes. And once you recognize it, that's part of, it's very important. One of the things of how they deal with gaslighting in terms of abuse is awareness, making the person first of all be aware of what is going on and aware of who they are, and recognize those things. But it's such a thing that, yes, it happens in marriages. It's a manipulation that happens in marriages quite a lot. And unfortunately, if there are children can also become victims of gaslighting. It's very, what makes it difficult to recognize is that because it's verbal, it's not first and foremost seen. The impact is, and sometimes the impact is not even felt immediately. Sometimes it takes months for the impact to play out. That's what makes it so
No,
insidious.
let's say you were not here when me and the woman of purpose were talking. I said, newlyweds, 6 months into their wedding, into their marriage, and they're like, I'm wondering, did they not see it when they were courting? She probably feels, this person have my best interest at heart. Oh, so I'll go
Yes.
there, and it's so subtle. And it's amazing what you just said now. It's like you were here when we were having that chat.
Yeah. Well, because I did trading in it, so I did so much trading that is safeguarding all my days. I can go off that. I have so much book and paper there.
I
But yeah,
can
it's such,
imagine.
yeah, and it's one of it's a very insidious manner of abuse, because people don't see it. It takes someone who has experienced it or someone who's trained in it to actually recognize the signs
Yeah.
when it's happening.
It's
I've been
very
in a situation where even at my workplace, someone says something, and I told the person immediately, you are trying to get an outcome from that person. And they were like, they were stunned because they didn't. I said, I know exactly what you're doing. You're trying to get an outcome for that person. And they were like, and since that time, anytime they see me, they just they handle themselves
they behave.
very well,
Because you
because
called it out. Because you called it
yeah, they
out.
did.
That's why.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know.
That's the thing.
So as they say, I put them on blast straight away. And in fact, the way I said it, I said, okay, how to be careful around this person. But it was because of the training. It was because of the training I had that helped me to identify it. So a lot of these things, it's so important when it's happening. And again, that's why when you are raising children, it's very important to not, how would I say it? Because again, what happens in marriage is when children come in, they tend to become the unfortunate recipients of such behavior. So that's why I keep saying when the children come in, that's it becomes, so it's so important that children have, when this happens, the partner that's experiencing it, is very important that they are protecting, or they know how to put the children on such an environment. And sometimes it involves separation. Part of the boundary setting involves separation, for that, so that or else if it continues, it can damage a child's mental and emotional well-being for years. I've actually seen this play out with someone. I think I mentioned it here a few weeks ago, a month ago. But I've seen this play out with a young man, and today, thankfully, now he's in some sort of structured housing. But he was off the rails because of the dad's words
Oh.
of how he just damaged the son emotionally, damaged him mentally. Was saying a lot of very, very hurtful things. I'm sure that the father himself had similar things, but he probably in that time was probably something that they had to grow up and deal with. But he coped with it and then made it maybe became his thing. But he just wrecked the son's life, and by the time the mother left, it was late, you know. So it's very it's something that should not be in a marriage, and even if someone they are getting what they want, they long term wise they are going to lose everything with that kind of behavior. They will eventually lose out, So it might get a desired effect immediately, but long term wise, you're going to end up that such people will lose out, you know. So yeah, I will leave it there. So thank you.
Thank you.
One of the things we mentioned, I'll pass it to you now, and also Heartbeat mentioned as well, is for some people, culture really is encouraging this, in terms of marriage now. I know you've even gone as far as children and colleagues and what have you. But if we come back to the marriage, sometimes this is my feeling, and I think women and couples attested to that as well. Culture really is enabling gaslighting in a marriage relationship.
Yes.
Look at it, especially our culture. At least I can speak for my culture. I don't know about some of us.
Uniquely speaking, gaslighting I found out is much more pervasive in the West. It's just like in Africa, it's coupled with so many other things, but in the West, it's much more pervasive. In fact, when we were doing the research, it is one of the um, strongest forms of abuse in the Western world. This is why you see especially when it comes to certain aspects of the female, this thing, you see that some men that they would really go on about their appearances, or they consistently be putting messages to make the spouse feel a certain kind of way, and if they don't do X, Y, and Z to improve this, So it's funny that when I was doing the research at my other workplace, it's very pervasive in the Western world. It's really quite pervasive there. Here in the UK as well, it's and that's why again it's really hard to detect if you don't know how to read the signs. And the people who experience this thing, many of them is maybe 2 years in before they now realize, oh, this person is manipulating my thinking, is changing my reality, is kind of forcing me to think a certain way. There was a movie called Get Out. Now it was be fantastical, but the undertone was really showing the power of gaslighting, the power of manipulation. It's so it's quite prevalent in the Western world more than what we know. In fact, if you study a lot of divorce cases where you see, especially in high profile situations, it happens in a lot. But when you see certain high profile situations, a lot of it you find that there is a pervasive form of manipulation going on, which is ultimately gaslighting.
It's
That
control, isn't it? It's about
yeah,
getting
it's a control. It's a
It's a
control
control
mechanism.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them use it to cope as well.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
cope as well.
True.
I was
I did a course 2 years ago. Is actually understanding domestic abuse, but under that came this gaslighting as well. So when not too much in depth, but it got me curious because I had to read and talk to answer some questions and what have you. And I'm like, really, is there such a thing as this? And it just got me thinking. And it got me thinking to my childhood days. I was just seeing it. I'm like, goodness, I didn't realize there was a name to it. So yeah.
I will give you one example. That sorry, woman. I'll just give you one example. This was something that I saw on Oprah years ago, maybe in the late 80s. And this was when I saw this, I said, "Wow!" So even rich people have their own issues. There was this woman. She had to be behind the curtain, and she was saying that her husband, he was a very rich man. They lived in Beverly Hills. He used to give her credit card. The credit card is $5,000 every month she can spend. $5,000. This was in the 80s, and then he gave her like a gold card that was worth $100,000. He always update. He always put money on it every 6 months. So she had those cards too. But she said, you said that house was hell. So now I said, what do you mean hell? Like, did he slap you? He said, mm-mm. Said he didn't do that.
Can you imagine?
Said she said this is what he used to do. That he would tell the cook, put that she can only eat this amount on the plate. The amount of the food she can eat can only be the size of his fist. That's the amount on the plate. And he structured her going out, who she saw, and she was like, but why is he doing all of this? And I want to keep you safe. And it's only later on she now found out that he was controlling her diet and he was controlling her friends. But in the beginning, he was saying, no, I want to make sure that you are going to have a good life and everything. It was years later that one of our friends said, your husband is changing your reality by force, is imposing his reality on your reality. That was the first time she heard the term gaslighting. And it was like, wow. When she now challenged the husband and said, no, I don't want to live like this. And if you don't, I don't want the credit card anymore. I'm going to go and get a job. That's when the man now really came out and said, no, you live under my world. I control your life. I pay for this, everything. That was when she now realized that, okay, this was his true intention. So that was when I knew, wow, this gaslighting can be such a powerful thing. And yet he never laid a finger on her.
Can you imagine?
So yeah.
And people out there will be envious of her, not knowing what she's going through. She's living in a prison. Thank you.
Yeah. Now I was gonna say, in terms of the research thing, I'm saying, is it because there's lack of research in our culture? Maybe that's the reason why nothing's coming up. Because when you think about it, these things happen.
Who do you
That's
want
a
to go
very
and
powerful
research?
point.
You think they will talk?
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. I think that's the reason why it seems like it's more, predominantly in the Western world, because there's more research. But whereas
More research.
in our
Yes.
culture, like you said, no one's even gonna come and come and talk.
Come and open your mouth now. Let's
But
hear
knowing what
you.
gaslighting is now, it happens a lot in our culture. Because,
Thank you.
Yes.
yeah, and like I said before, it happens with the men because of culture-wise, right? So in the West,
Elder
it's
Ade,
taken
welcome.
as more gaslighting is more synonymous with women, but back home it's more with the men. So the men, so it's same thing. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, the men instigate gaslighting more from back home, and then like what he said, like when it comes to the gaslighting happens a lot with kids. And I feel that this gaslighting is a very deep thing because people that gaslight are people that have some sort of trauma. So you have been a victim of gaslighting, you gaslight. It's, it's the way it is. You come from a deep place of trauma. So it comes from how do you heal? How do you get into it? We bring all these traumas with ourselves from back home, where it's just like a very easy example is when I'm Nigerian, so your parent takes the cane and bashes you and says, if you cry, I will slap you. You get that kind of thing. So it's gaslighting in its own way, but it comes with a lot of trauma as well. So people that come out of these things don't actually know how to approach the whole world. So when your reality is being made up for you and you're not given that opportunity to create your own reality, then you have this kind of warped sense of approach to life and relationships and things like that. and it just destroys your actual coping mechanism. So women who have gaslighting come into relationships expecting outcomes that expecting, like I said, I said something about outcomes. So when you go into marriage, I'll use the example of what this guy just said about the relationship with the guy who gave her money all the time. So when you're married to a man that has that kind of power, he there are some kind of requirements for you to be married to a man with that kind of money. I don't know if you understand. So you're a trophy wife.
Trade off.
Yep. You're a
Yep.
trophy wife. You have to look a certain way.
Elder.
You have to look a certain way because he has an image to portray. So you got married to a man with that sort of needs. You know that that's what he wants. You got into the marriage knowing that you are a wife of somebody that is well to do. Like from the example he's given, somebody that has money. Now you got into this relationship knowing that that's what it should be. And now, in the confines of the relationship, you're saying, okay, no, this is what I want my reality to be. So you had already set a goal initially. And now within that relationship, I'm just putting a little bit of spin into it because
Yeah, I guess.
it's a very, very funny topic. And it could swing both ways very quickly.
You.
So, yeah. So the guy could be gaslighting the woman, but did the woman understand who she was getting married to? And has she fallen short of what she was meant to be within the confines of the marriage? I don't know if I'm making any sense.
You are. Her expectations, yeah.
It's
What
not
is
exactly a
expected
high
of
expectation. It was the
No, no, what is
expectation of
expected of
marrying
her?
what is expected of her, knowing that she's married to somebody that's well to do. So you're like, it's like marrying a footballer. You're not going to be an obese lady marrying a footballer. You have a certain image to portray.
Why
So
can't you? Why can't you be?
no, 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 no. When you get married, there is an expectation, and you are aware of that expectation when you get married.
All the time,
No,
oh,
yeah, I don't think everyone does, you know.
No, no, I'm not saying everyone does. I'm not saying that. You're not listening. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that everyone does. I'm saying when you're married to that kind of person, a
yeah.
man with high value, somebody that has the means, you are, so to speak, a housewife and a trophy wife. So you have to look the look. He takes you to meetings, he takes you to places like that. There is an actual optics. Say Michelle Obama, she wife of the president, she has to look a certain way, she has to dress a certain
Of
way.
course.
Princess Diana and things like that. I don't know if you get where I'm going.
I get it, I
She
get it.
must
Yes,
wait.
there's
Going
She
into the
must
expectation,
talk
of
relationship,
a
course.
certain
Yeah.
part. She must wait a certain part. She must dress a certain part. It's like, I don't know.
she understood the terms when she was getting married to him.
Ah, well,
We hope so. Maybe she was.
Aha. So this is
yeah.
this. Yeah, I'm just playing devil's advocate, anyways. But
I get
yeah,
you, boy. Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Some people, like, I wonder, like, do you have conversation with the person about, oh, do you expect me to be like this? What would happen if I put on weight? You know?
It's a monologue.
Yes,
no, no,
but I
it's
don't
not.
think
It's
people
not. It's
do.
not. When you are a trophy wife, you are a trophy wife. You're married to a man who means you
Like
know
you don't have a
optics.
say. That's what you're telling us. Like the woman doesn't have a say.
No, I didn't say that. You're
No, no,
not.
no.
You're
I'm
not.
saying that in that kind of scenario, it's like she doesn't have a say.
No, she does have a say.
Ah,
They are optics. I don't know. Okay, see, it's not like the men. You're gonna look like you're gonna look like I don't know what I'm saying, but
no, no,
listen.
no.
No, no, we know what you're saying. We
Okay,
know
I
see,
what
get
you're
let, let,
saying.
let me let me use this. Let me use this example. I think it's better. I'm not saying it's good, but I'll use the example of say it's an extreme example anyways. Say your prince married to prince, one of the princes, right? You have to look a certain way. There's some sort of protocol. So I would think if you're also married to someone like Elon Musk, there's a kind of way you should look. If you're married to Bezos, there's the kind of way you should look because it's part of PR, right? It's part of PR. when you're going to meetings, when you're going to functions, when you're going, it's there's the aesthetic, there's the way it should look. Yes, I understand what he's saying, but now in the other essence, the emotional manipulation is the thing. Now I'll put it this way: you look at your spouse and you say you're a big fat cow.
Sorry, I have to laugh. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
The floor is open.
What was that? That your spouse says what?
Oh my god.
Hello?
Okay, now repeat what you just said.
Please.
No, I'm not repeating it. You heard me right.
No, I didn't
No,
hear you. Did you?
some didn't hear you.
You're the host now. Repeat now.
I'm the host. I didn't say it, so you have to repeat yourself
No, no,
so that
you
others
repeat
can
it.
hear you.
Nah, lie. You
But
repeat it.
What happened now? Now I'm intrigued. I want to know what happened. What did I miss?
it's not my mouth that you hear that the teacher's mother is dead.
Oh, you tell her you're intrigued. I want to know what happened. What did I
It's
miss?
not my mouth that you hear that the teacher's mother is dead.
Oh, you tell her you're a big. Okay, okay. So your spouse says that to you. What would I say to my spouse?
Yeah.
What would I say to my spouse if you're supposed to say that to me? Well, I know I'm not, so it wouldn't be a problem. I'll be like, I don't know who you're seeing because I'm not fat, so I'm not big. So what's your problem?
Woman of purpose, you want to tell her that? Hello.
For me, that would not hit me anyhow because you know what? I don't have issue with those kind of. I don't have low self-confidence, so it's no problem.
Yeah, but in relationships,
But no, but in reality,
the actual
sorry.
people that are complaining as this kind of things as gaslighting. So gaslighting is something done by people that are not even confident in their own.
Yeah, but it depends on how you say it. Like if you're concerned about your partner's health, yeah, there's a way to say it and a way to
Exactly.
encourage
That's what I'm
them.
trying to say.
Yeah,
There
but
is a
saying
way to
it
say
that
it.
way is it's not the right way because you're not gonna get a good
Exactly.
response back.
Same point I was trying to make. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You're not gonna get a good response because it's not a pleasant way. You know, there's different ways. Oh, baby, I'm concerned about your weight, your health. Let's is there anything you want to do about it? Have you thought about those kind? You can have conversations when the person is in a calm, relaxed mode. But you don't need to go and just say, you're this, especially like in front of other people. No, 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 no. That's
I don't know whether it was a movie I watched or somebody shared. I'm even trying to remember of this woman. She was like normal petite size when she got married, and then she had twins as the first.
okay.
So imagine a flat. You know, women don't associate themselves with a six pack, or imagine her like that, and then twins. First baby expanded her belly, and then she blew up. But her mom is chubby. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean that in an
Yeah,
offensive
it's chubby. Yeah, we
Yeah,
get it.
trouble is trouble. We
so,
are adults
but
here.
she
You know
was
what we
skinny.
don't.
They never even thought she would add flesh or anything. But in the first trimester of the pregnancy, she was even bigger than her mom. And then the husband, oh my goodness, said
Lost it.
he just like, can't you control yourself? What he started, and in fact, it was like there's love in the air, and then bam, those three
Love is
sweet.
gone.
The shock, the shock of her life, like, am I hearing right or not? And then it became perpetual, like everyday thing. And when she wants to eat, and you're carrying twins, you probably will eat one right or not. And then it became perpetual, like everyday thing. And when she wants to eat, and you're carrying twins, you probably will eat one that kind of a setting. So it's not something we toy with because it affects people's mental well-being. Imagine she collapsed and she could actually lose those children just because.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
I'm still gonna play devil's advocate.
You say?
I'm still
He's
gonna
gonna
play.
play devil's advocate because that's what he wants
Yeah,
to
go
do today.
ahead.
That's
Go
what I
on.
think that I've come here to be the devil's advocate. So let's go.
Okay.
So
So, okay, would you do that to your wife?
No, I wouldn't.
I want to say, can
I
I just
wouldn't,
say
Leslie.
one thing
Don't worry.
quickly?
I wouldn't.
The issue, the issue with gaslighting, as I also has mentioned, is a mental it can distort one's mentality. It's not even, some of it is even like finances. So
Yeah.
there's one case where and it was actually, and one of the things that they say is not proven, but it's kind of like when they look at the personality of people, a lot of the time people who do it are people who are like passive aggressive. So it's like they're not physically, but they would use that as a way. And because it's so effective in getting outcomes and getting certain results, then it actually strengthens, or it enables them to continue. But one of the things was a financial situation where the the man would tell the woman, you only have this amount of money and that's all they can live on. And he will keep making her feel like they don't have money, they are struggling, this, that, and the third, even though the woman is the one who's making the money. But he would tell her, it's going to this, going to this, it's going for this. Even though that was one day she discovered that by mistake, I think one of his phones was left and saw like there was like over 100,000 pounds, and it was for a property. And she's like, when did we buy this property? When did we? It was, then she now found out that this guy had been phoning all this money, lying to her, that just created such a reality to her that she thought that they were really struggling. They had to be paying things off. Whereas he was siphoning the money for his own personal things, buying property, and it was, her names were not included. Nothing was there. When she found out that this was going on, she now like, this guy had just messed her up, and it basically, she was, not only did she divorce him, but I can't remember what happened, but the details was that it really affected her to the point where she became overly cautious about money. That experience affected her when money was concerned, and so it's what people don't understand is that what it does to people mentally, and how it distorts their thinking. It's such a horrible, people who have been, it's such a horrible feeling that, that's what I was going to say on that level. So just think
It
about it
breaks
on that
trust.
level.
Yeah,
It breaks trust.
fantastic.
It breaks people's trust. And like, for example, like if somebody is telling you you're constantly big, 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 and you might not be, and you start, not watching what you're eating, you're not eating properly, you're doing this. Before you know it, you get body dysmorphia where you think you're fat and you're big and you're not. And you start starving yourself. And then before you know, you become anorexic. So you go from one side to the other side, and the
It's the
health
way people need to
implications.
stop.
I tell you something. I tell you something. Years ago, this one is even me personally. How much was somebody telling me? I once upon a time was a size 24, and when I hated standing in front of the mirror because I didn't like what I saw. The me in my head was the me, that picture that I posted on my page, that slim me.
That's slim
So
you.
what happened in front of the mirror? I see this big person because of this contraceptive injection or whatever. And by the time I dealt with that, I had to stop the thing because it was just making me float up and all. And I noticed that I reduced to almost drastically to 18. Imagine from 24 to 18. All my clothes were so big. I mean, if you look at it physically, you can see that what have you done is gone down. But every time I look at the mirror, I see this big person, and that is me by myself. Now imagine somebody adding salt to injury. Imagine. It is well.
So that's exactly my point. So I said the point I made with what you just said is the gaslighting. There's a thin line. This word is a very, very dicey word. If you're not confident within yourself, you can easily be gaslit. So that's why we have to go some balls. We have to, confidence comes from within. Now, what happens within relationships is the the each spouse is putting so hard of a burden on the other spouse for the kind of outcomes that they want. So when they don't have their way, they try to put it on that spouse, which is typical gaslighting both ways. So to stop gaslighting, you have to treat yourself first because it comes from a place of pain. It comes from a place of what do you call it? But like the financial one that he's talking about, that's a typical case of gaslighting in men, women. I'll just put it that way. Yeah, that's men that are not really strong. And to be honest, women, you see those red lights when you go into those kind of relationships, and you know when a man is not that, it shouldn't be leading you in your marriage and where you're going, but you still want to heal him, and you go into those sort of relationships, and those are the outcomes you always find.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
It just come back to what we said earlier, wasn't it, in our chat, that you have to build yourself up.
Yeah.
You have to build yourself up, because people that do that, they look for your weakness, and that's where they exploit it. And as long as, if you make sure there's no weakness there, they can't. And if you become self-aware about these things, know what it looks like, how it feels like, and call it out when it happens, you stand more chance of not letting it develop and go unchecked, and then it becomes a chronic elephant in the room that you can't shift.
This
I'll,
thing.
I'll, I'll, I'll use myself as an example. I would normally not do this, but in the beginning of my marriage, I remember we got married and we had a certain goal, like where we should be financially in 5 years' time, and we had to do a few things to get there. So I've been married for a while now, and pre-wokeism, I got married. So in the whole period of wokeism coming in, and there's this buzzwords being thrown around. So I would always encourage my spouse, say, okay, listen, there's what you should be achieving at this point. So why don't you? What do you need? What tools do you need? What help do you need from me? How do we go there? She didn't want to do it, but she started throwing up this word that I was narcissistic. So what do? We had to sit down and have a proper discussion on the word and how that word was going to hinder where we were going as a couple. So after a few months, we came to that conclusion. It doesn't happen anymore, but we had actually had to have these long talks about the ramification of this thing. So it made us understand ourselves more, where every single it's very easy to let these things go within relationships. So it made us understand ourselves really more. And we tended to, like, it would always come up in a relationship. Let me just put it out there. Gaslighting will always come up in a relationship. It's part of our normal daily life. It could eat at us, like Leslie has said. But if you grow that ability to be able to speak to your spouse and come to that ground where you know you've hurt your spouse, you say, come, listen, it's not intentional. It's come from a place of hurt. I'm healing. I will try to heal. I'll try to be a better person. Like Pastor said, that has to come into play. And it's easy to curb. And as time goes on, there's no saying that gaslighting will not constantly be in your relationships. I believe all of us are married. Most of us will be married and know what relationships are like. It would always be in relationships. Most especially when we don't want a certain outcome with our spouse, we will go, okay, you know what? That's my escape route to actually get out of it. So this is a real life example of what gaslighting could be. But we don't do it intentionally. It's just done out of a place of, listen, I don't really want your outcome, but but how we deal with it moving on is very, very important anyways. Just say I should do that.
Wow. Yes.
Amazing.
I totally agree with what you said. There is some element of that, because I guess when we can all fall into victims of that, when you want a certain outcome and you want to fight for it. But I feel that, like you said, that comes from a good place, maybe because you just want the other person to see that point of view. And I think what Heartbeat said, you know, have a conversation, try and show them the pros and cons. You know, I remember my daughter. If she wanted something, I said no. She would go. When she was young, she used to go and type all the reasons why it was a good idea, and then we'll sit down and have a conversation. By the time we finish, I'll be like, okay, I'll give you. The effort you put into this whole discussion isn't worth me saying yes just because you put the effort. So I think that's one thing, and I think the other thing is also like sometimes just to understand that what we have to allow the other person to disagree with us, and sometimes some people need time to see where we're going or the picture that you're trying to paint to them, or even to understand where you come from, because sometimes you can have a conversation with your partner about something you've been through. They might think differently about it, and it's okay if they can't see your point of view. You have to learn to just let it be. But like when you're forcibly trying to say, I went through this, I went on, it's impossible. They're different from you.
In fact, the more you do that, the more they will not see that point. The more they will not get results. Yes.
You have to accept that there's an element of that people are going to be different from us. And as much as we like them to always understand us and be for us and agree with us, it's not possible. It's not possible.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with you. But we're still keeping within the confines of marriage, right? So
Yes.
I'll say this again: marriage is a journey, right?
Definitely.
Getting into marriage, you have outcome. First outcome will be financial outcome. Second outcome will be so it starts with this. It will be, what jobs are you guys gonna do? What's the financial outcome? You got kids, how you gonna raise your kids? You got your religion, how you gonna deal with religion and things like that and stuff like that. So there is a path that you agree, if you're in a proper marriage, if you've had a proper healthy relationship building up to marriage,
Yeah.
there's a path that you've passed, that you've walked. So you've done the religious walk with your partner, you've done the health walk with your partner, you've done the goals walk with your partner, and things like that. And then you know where you're going. So I believe that you're somebody that you're a couple that know where you're going. So now you've come into the relationship and you're treading your path, and you already know what the path is. And this is why I'm saying,
But reality can be sometimes different. Sometimes things can happen that will change,
yeah, yeah,
and
listen,
obstacles will come, and then you say, okay, babe, so
Man
now, okay, we're planning
proposes,
to go
God
to A.
disposes.
no, listen,
Yeah.
listen. Obstacles come in life,
Yes.
yes, but see, even when obstacle comes, people that thrive in life thrive out of adversity. You need to understand that
Yeah.
obstacles do come in life. Doesn't mean you should bow out. Thrive in life thrive out of adversity. You need to understand that
Yeah.
obstacles do come in life. Doesn't mean you should bow out.
You've got a plan, yeah? We're going forward, yeah? Let's say a mountain drops in the middle where we're trying to go to, and you think that doing this A will get us right, and I'm suggesting B. How do we then come to a compromise? That's what I'm asking. How do we then come to a
Oh
compromise?
no,
Because
no.
I feel that maybe your way that you're saying we should go as the head is not maybe gonna lead us a proper way. So
Oh no,
I'm
no, no,
bringing
no.
my ideas.
No,
Are
you're
you
not getting
willing
me.
to
You're not
listen?
getting
Are
me.
you?
You're not getting me. So, like I said, in marriage, right? You lead does not necessarily mean you're the head. Do you understand? In marriage, you lead doesn't mean you're the head. So, I've got 3 kids. I lead in my family, but I'm not the head of the family.
What do you
So who's
mean?
the head? Who's the head then?
I'm
Tell
the
us.
leader, but I'm not the head. There's a captain and there's a co-captain. They lead the ship. They head the ship. They head what the outgoings are on the actual ship. But there is a leader who's saying, okay, this is
All
where.
right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
So what I'm trying to say is,
Oh
my
dear.
wife is just beside me
Thank you so much.
in decisions. We make decisions together. You would always say, we will always sit down at any single point where there's an obstacle and say, listen, let us go this way.
Good night, Pastor Ajayi.
And you always obviously listen to your partner. So you might deviate from what the plan is, but you know what the overall plan is. You still know where you're heading to. So yeah, obstacles will come, but you got to work through it. Like I said, there is no head in marriage. There's a leader, but you're getting the advice from your co-pilot at every single point. So the co-pilot is almost as trained as the pilot because you have agreed that that's where you're going. It's a common thing. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to
I
say.
understand. That's the way it
Yeah,
should be.
yeah,
But
that's the way it should be.
that's the
Yeah,
way it should be. That's the way
100.
it should work. But however, that's why I'm saying that it does not always work that way. I'm not talking about the real, what we really want and what works. I'm talking about in a situation when the other person, like, I'm the head, and I'm saying we should go this way, and you're like thinking, but if we go this way, we're gonna we're gonna finish, we're gonna end ourselves. Because that's when manipulations comes, because the other person feels intimidated that, oh, I'm not going to listen to you because you're supposed to be beneath me, or you're not equivalent to make a decision, so I'm going to manipulate you to come my way. You see, but in doing that, actually, if you
No,
don't
no,
listen,
no,
if
no.
you don't take my
That's
advice,
yeah. I'm listening. Sorry.
if you're not taking my advice as your co-pilot, you're not taking my advice, and we end up going where we're going, we're both going to end up in the wrong place. We're
Okay.
not going to get anywhere.
Can I say something? Can I say
Yes.
something? So, what is my? Are you married? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Sorry about that. Anyways, I shouldn't be asking personal questions. So the thing is this: when you agree to get married to your partner, right? What do you see him as?
Can you say that again? I don't know where
The line keeps going funny. Yeah. What did you say
Oh, sorry, my network. When you
at
get
the
married
end?
to your
Yeah.
to the man that you decide to get married to, I assume that women get married to men who they believe and trust in. Am I correct? So you spend some time as a smart, godly woman that you are to actually understand your spouse and know where you are both going. And you said yes to him because you feel that you guys can work and achieve a goal together. Am I correct?
I would say what my
No, no,
understanding has changed
it's just a yes or no answer.
at the time.
At that time,
No.
okay, I'm listening to you then.
That's what I get what you're saying, honestly, and what you're saying is the right thing. But I'm saying that a lot of people have gone into marriage that have not had this wisdom that you're talking about, or this forward thinking. So what do we do now that we are in to get by? That's what I'm asking you about.
Okay, very good.
I'm
So are you it depends on the gender you're talking about. Is it the man or the woman?
Okay. Let's go with the man.
Let's go with the man. Okay. Now I would say something. Not every man will be able to lead you in a relationship. Is that what you want to hear? Yes. Not every man will be able to lead you in a relationship.
That's true.
But exactly. So it takes a stupid man not to listen to his wife because you're going for a collective outcome. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Yeah. So that's why I say you lead, but you are not the head.
Yes.
So you always have that listening ear who can take a step back and watch you and say, "Oh, listen, my guy, I don't think we're going the right way. So why don't we sit down?" And a lot of I'll tell you one thing: in a lot of relationship, a lot of women don't do that. And like I said again, it takes a strong woman. Not all women do that. It takes a strong woman to come out and say, "Listen, guy, you're not taking me the right way. So why don't we look backwards and let's do this and this and this?" And that's when this kind of women who don't do that actually come out and say, "Oh, listen, look at him, he's not doing the right thing." But you're supposed to work together as a couple. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Now,
Yes.
these sort of women come now and sometimes play victim of gaslighting. Rather than work it out with your partner, you come out on the peripheral and you say, "Listen,
possible.
he's not taking me the right way." But are you speaking to him?
Yeah.
What of where pride and ego comes in?
Yeah, it's very good. And that's where I say it's a problem of the man, which most men, it's a cultural thing, like I said before. So that's where the pride and ego comes in as part of the culture. So I'm Nigerian. In most certain parts of Nigeria, you go, oh, the man is all in all. Unfortunately, I lived for a little part of my life in Nigeria, and I've never been like that. Understand me? But you find out that most men would be like this, and it's a cultural thing. It's stemmed from generation to generation to generation. So, not the fathers passing this down on the boys. Funny enough, is the mothers passing it down on the boys.
Really?
Yes, madam.
Where's the research you
Can I
conduct?
explain why?
Please.
Fantastic. So in Nigeria, mostly boys grow up sitting on the couch and being served by their sisters, their mothers, and everyone else. What are they taught to? What are they taught?
Pampered.
They are pampered, number one.
And
They
women
are
are there
taught that
to
they can't
serve.
do any wrong. They are taught that they cannot do any wrong. The girls are the ones that will serve and give themselves in some, like I said,
Yeah.
in some cultures. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
So these kind of men grow up to believe that they're not meant to do anything within any relationship, any confine, because that's where they're taught. She's saying hallelujah. Do you agree?
Oh my God, Africa,
Yes.
Africa. Oh, if you grow up in my father's house, you will know that this statement does not apply to Fumi Royal.
Oh, really?
Look, in my own house, whether you're a boy or a girl, you will hold the wooden spoon and make eba. Whether you're a boy, you don't.
Okay. I was brought up like that as well. I was brought up like that as well. But it's predominantly an Eastern thing. It's predominantly an Eastern in Eastern Nigeria. It's predominant there. So
But you know, the truth of the matter is, I understand where everybody's coming from. But whether it was learned, whether it was taught, however this thing has come into somebody's life, do we even recognize it in our own marriage? And when either spouse addresses it, how are we accepting it, or how are we addressing it is another thing we need to look at. Just like you said, whether it's a Christian home, Muslim home, non-pagan, whatever, these things tend to sometimes it comes naturally, subtly, and then if it's not dealt with, that's when it becomes this big problem we're talking about. So how do we address it? Now you're in this marriage, whether 5 years, 10 years, or whatever, and it's like, no, this thing has to be addressed. And you know the spouse you have talks like that, they don't want to hear it. And this thing is becoming a burden. It could even be the man that he doesn't know how to address it with the woman because he's the one that is being gaslighted. So it could be different scenario. That's why I'm like, we're not gender biased here.
yeah,
But
definitely. I
here, and I
understand
won't
that.
throw my marriage away, or you won't throw your marriage away just because you don't know how to handle it.
So, like I said, I think Leslie. I listened a lot to what Leslie said, and obviously that had training in it, and he said something very unique. He said, after there's so when you start feeling gaslit, which I think the your partner does not even know they're doing it. It's something like second nature most of the times. Now, I'll tell you, some people actually train themselves to do that personally. But I want to believe that 80% of people do it not knowing exactly what they're doing because it's come from a place of trauma. The rest 20% would do it purposely.
Intentionally, yeah.
It would be 100% intentional. But I want to think a small minority do it intentionally. Now, if you do speak to your spouse and you said to your spouse, like, listen, this is what it is, and they don't see it from your point of view, it's a red flag. It's a red flag. And that's when you have to run, like Leslie said. So
Oh, but
when it
you're in
gets
a
to that point,
marriage. Okay, name you just run from your marriage just like that.
no, you will fight for it. But listen, this is abuse we're talking about. So
Yeah.
the more you allow it, the more it damages you. What do you do? Um, I speak to I won't reveal my job, but okay, listen. I speak to a lot of people in these situations.
Okay.
Um, should I say this? I've met men that are broken from abuse. Um, both physical, verbal, and gaslit like crazy. I'm dealing with a case where he's almost lost his mind,
It could
and
be.
it's very close to home. And like I said, I like to always open my perspective and just think properly about it. But um, it's very close to home. But I just found out that, like I said, the 20% know what they're doing and they gaslight you knowingly. So she she um she she targeted him. She married him after a month and had a baby and took everything. And it was the abuse was documented all the way. So it was police, it was everything. She was physically, emotionally, mentally. It absolutely broke this man down. He's been in therapy for the best part of 2 years, and he's still destroyed. He cannot even go into a relationship again. He has two kids. She's taken the kids, and then she's tried to financially. What do I say? She's tried to.
Capacitate.
She's even doing it to the kids as well. Okay, I'll put it this way. So one of the kids is one day she just woke up and said the kid is autistic. He wasn't. So she had to financially gain from the kid being autistic by being an actual carer. So she's somebody that had a plan when she went into everything. She had it planned. So she she calls him autistic. At this point, they were not together again. So she's called him autistic. They've gone to the doctors, and she's not said anything to him. She's gone ahead and done it, and he's discovered, and he's trying to fight for his child. He's trying to fight for the boy. So autism being in some sort of spectrum would mean him missing out on school and everything. This boy's a bright boy. So she's gone and said that the school has said he was autistic. She's gone and said that at home this is what he does. That's what he does. He's never done any of those things. So this guy had to go back to the do they call them the assessors? The people that actually assess the kids. So she's gone to the lady, and the lady, she's now tried to dispute everything by bringing evidence and going to the school and saying, okay, listen, where's the record where my child is going through these things? I want to see it on record. And he's gone to all the institutions to ask for those things. So he's brought all the evidence and come to the lady and say, listen, it's not happening anywhere. And this is how she's done it first time, he won, and she went and done it again behind his back. Yes. So it's a very, very touchy subject. Now, I could say here that she knew when she was doing it, but I'll say maybe she's following a pattern. So you see where it's a very touchy subject. So I say maybe she's just following a pattern. She doesn't know any better because that's what she saw her parents do. So at some point, we have to be human about these things and see it in the bigger picture and say, okay, let's apply our own humanity into this and know that and a lot of people are broken, and broken can only give broken. That's what it is.
Thank you. Very harmful relationship that is.
But they can heal if they accept it and take the help. Healing can come.
Indeed. So it's gonna take a process really,
I'm
because
telling you.
it's not gonna be automatic. That's just the sad part of it. In as much as that there is healing, when can you say you will have healing? When is that going to be? Because every individual is different. The way I react to a trauma is different from the way you will react to it. But at least the most significant thing is the person is getting the right help to recovering. Because sometimes you may not be able to recover alone or by yourself.
No, you can't recover. You can't recover from that alone. You need people around you.
Yeah.
I
But
agree. I
you're
think
gonna blame. You're gonna blame yourself. You're gonna blame yourself and stuff like that. So
sometimes it's more than people being around you. I think sometimes you need to start looking into things like therapy because these things go very deep,
Yeah.
psyche, and it destroys us a lot.
No, definitely. You can't do without therapy, but I'm saying you also need support around you because
Yeah, definitely.
therapy will finish, you go back home. And sometimes therapy will go so deep that even when you leave, you'll be more broken. So you need people to hold you up and encourage
No,
you.
but if you're in a marriage that you're being gaslit, I think I think you should leave.
No, no, I'm not saying about going back home in terms of that environment. I'm
Yeah,
saying
okay.
home as a place of safety for you.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, no, 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 no. Because why would you go therapy and go back into that situation where the person gonna do the same thing to you again?
Yeah,
That's not gonna help you.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I remember one of my colleagues saying years back they will go and cancel people in the prison, and that thing tears her up because you cancel them, they still put them back in the prison. It's like they're still going to face the same bully person. So what's the point, kind of a thing? So yeah, I do get it. But all the same, my prayer is that none of us will find ourselves doing this to our spouses
yeah,
or being done
definitely,
to us. But as it
definitely.
happens, we're talking about it today. And I bet some people, just like I said, some people do not even know that this thing exists other than when they're hearing it in a forum like this or any other forum, and then they start soul searching and like they could actually relate to everything we've been saying. Probably they've been gaslighted severally that they don't know how to place it or what to do. But now they say knowledge is power. What are you
Of
gonna
course.
do now that you know? What
Yes.
will you do? For me, like I say, I'm not an advocate for divorce, but if you guys have to separate for a while to get help, both of you, the one that is being abused or the one that is abusive or whatever, both needs help. And then
Yes.
from time to time, you have to check in to know where they're at in their mindset and all of that. Because otherwise, if there's nothing checking you or checking that situation, it will carry on for so long, and bitterness will step in, resentment, and all of that. And at the end of the day, you're not enjoying this marriage. And that's where what we're addressing. For us to be able to enjoy our marriages, we need to check ourselves from time to time.
Yeah. Can I?
Because
Can
of
I?
your, yeah, go
Sorry,
on.
sorry, please. Can I say something as well? It's very important because I'll only speak from my perspective, being
Yeah,
a
it's
man.
fine. It's
Uh,
fine.
I don't want you to think I'm biased or anything.
It's
I'll say
okay.
something. I'll say, see, in so many relationships, I would say something that's really very important. There are a lot of spouses who don't express themselves. Okay, I'll use a very funny example that we African women do. That sorry, I said we. I'm not. I'm not African women, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, so it's like, babe, how are you? What's happening? Nothing. Oh, how you feeling? Don't look too good. Nothing. I'm alright. Are you sure, babe? You don't look good. What's happening? And he tries to cheer you up and things like that. And something's eating you up clearly, but you internalize and you don't communicate. And these things are very, very important to do in relationships where you don't internalize stuff at all. You have to always deal with it at that spot and at that time. So it costs a lot of it's one of the causes of these sort of things where you just typically internalize things. And why I say this, that I speak to in a group of friends that I have, we like to think of ourselves as good men. eh? We think in our little small world. So we always would like to sit down in a forum and discuss our not the deep rooted things within our relationships, but obviously implore ourselves into how to be better men and better people for our wives and going through. So the miscommunication things always comes into play where I think it's part of emotions, it's part of the time of the month, and a lot of things come into play. So it's imperative that
But
women
I
try
hear
to always
you,
open up with their,
Okadem. Have
yeah.
you looked at it on this flip side? That this woman, once upon a time, before you even ask how you doing, what's wrong, she'll come, oh, guess what? This is it. You're like, oh, you'll get over it or whatever, or whatever. And then she feels shut down. And at some point, she just decides to not talk anymore. And then that's when this man is not interested. Oh, what's wrong? And she's looking at him like, once upon a time, you don't even want to hear what it is. So a lot of things, there's a lot of transitions in marriage,
Yeah,
If we don't keep up with it, we get lost in it.
yeah.
And you know,
I exactly what you said is very correct.
you know,
But like I said, it's a two-way thing.
yeah,
So I'm just saying my perspective.
yeah, yeah, it's
Obviously, you're
fine.
giving me the flip side. So
Yeah,
even when this happens to the lady on the flip side, it would
mm,
always happen to the man on the flip side as well. So you see, if your man notices that you're off and is coming to you, he cares. A man that doesn't come to you and ask you those things, he's checked out emotionally a long time ago.
mm,
You need to always understand that as well. So in most cases, can say shakara, let me do small shakara at all. Let me tell him this and let me do this and let me do that. And then yeah. But it comes both ways anyways. It does come both ways. So we always just have to self-reflect, check, and make sure that it doesn't go that long. As a rule of thumb in my household, we try to make sure that we don't spend a night in argument. One night. You don't sleep till the next morning in an argument. It goes a long way. Because one night could turn into 2 weeks, 6 months, and you find out that you're not even
yeah,
intimate no more.
yeah.
So it's very important.
Mm. Yeah, thank you. So, I've been posting my puzzle. Thank you so much for all your contributions. I've been posting that puzzle because I was finding the right time to put it in. But no worries, if you don't get it today, I'll bring it back next week. It's fine.
We'll do it next week.
Look at her. You want to run. So that's the topic. Why did Judas carve the turkey? If you know the answer, fine. If not, yeah, I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back
Good night,
next.
Isaac.
Leslie, are you saying something?
Leslie, I yield to you. Sorry.
On the answer, no. You have to come. We didn't even touch it at all today. It's like me just informing you. So me just informing you. Go home for the next one week. Go and do your research and
Don't do
come
our
and
research. Hey,
come
very
and
sharp
answer
one.
anything so you can get the gift. Only you, Leslie.
Yes.
Or maybe Okanem wants to try. Why did Judas carve the turkey?
Pardon?
I said, why did Judas carve the turkey? I've just posted a puzzle.
Why did Judas call?
It's giving Thanksgiving.
Heartbeat.
What was
Heartbeat.
the answer?
You say?
What's the answer? Someone said something now.
Why would I tell you the answer?
No, no.
No, it's
I
not
think
this
a
the answer.
woman of
I said it's because he was trying to give Thanksgiving. That's why I said.
You're funny. No, that's not the answer. So yeah, you have a whole week. Next Thursday, I'm gonna bring it back. I don't even know what the topic is, but hopefully it's not as intense, so we can laugh a bit. I know this one is really, really sensitive and very deep talk. And I'm so grateful that we all that have come here will share, our submissions, the flipping to the right, to the left, so that we can get understanding. And not just get understanding, do something about it if we find ourselves in such a situation. And when I give my talk, I always say it's for us to self reflect. It could be that we are the perpetrator. That's the bitter truth nobody wants to hear.
yeah.
Let us reflect, check ourselves in this relationship. I've heard Fumi Royal today. All they've said, am I doing this to my spouse? Check yourself. There's no harm in that. And whichever way, you can even sit down with your spouse if they're not here with you. Sit with them and talk about this thing you heard. Do you think it exists in this relationship? Be open and honest with one another, because you never can tell what will happen tomorrow. At least you've heard now. You can't say you've never heard of anything called gaslighting and how it can affect a marriage relationship. So thank you to everyone for their contribution, your tappings, your victims, and all of that. Thank you guys. Yeah, we will have to call it a day tonight. Since nobody is telling us their Thanksgiving call. Thanksgiving me. That's what people will say. It's not Thanksgiving anything. Why did Judas have the Thanksgiving call?
Thanksgiving. It's
Thank
giving
you,
thanks.
Leslie. Thank you, Okanem. Thank you so much for joining. Really
Thanks
appreciate
very
it.
much, guys. Thank you very much.
Heartbeat 77. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody. I'll grab everyone here, please.
Woman of purpose, thank you so, so much. What did you say?
I said I'll grab everyone. I'll just like follow everyone. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll find all
thanks,
of you.
guys.
Don't worry, I'll find you and follow right back.
I think I follow you. I think you follow me as well.
Okay, all right. Then that is your friend. So yeah. And thank you for
Thanks,
standing
guys.
your grounds as well and bringing those side to the top, which we really appreciate as well. Brother Leslie, assignment for you. Why did you just have the turkey? Next week, if you don't get that prize, I will name you Elder Leslie as well. Oh. And I'm not joking.
It's now being an elder a threat now. Hey.
No, before you say who is gaslighting me on her show, no.
Exactly.
No,
Gaslight
no,
me.
no. By the grace of God, we all will be here by the grace of God. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Thank you, Leslie. Regards to the family. Heartbeat, thank you so much for opening your camera today. In fact, let me find something here. Thank you so much. God bless you. Woman of purpose. You know you're the best moderator. You
I'm
are
trying.
I dug my heart.
Sorry.
I dug my heart. In fact, you've been the one that has made me enjoy this moderation, even though I'm still sometimes it's like my brain is still not
It's
adjusting.
okay. You give me break sometimes, so it's good.
Don't get used to that. You should be helping me to get used to you. Thank you so much, woman of purpose. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
I wish
Good
you all
night.
a lovely night rest. Don't worry, we'll be back here again on Monday, 8 p.m. UK time, where we take individual general thoughts. And I can't remember, I don't know the topic, I'll have to go and deal with that later. But thank you so much. Wish you a lovely weekend and happy February. Yes, indeed. I can't believe January is
Can
finished.
you imagine? Hmm.
Lord help
Well,
us. What you have to do, do quick, as they
do
say.
quick. Oh, time waits for nobody.
Thank
Nobody.
you. Wow, wow, wow. Thank God. Thank God. Let us go and revisit all our resolutions. Yes, so good night, everyone. God bless you. Have a
Bye
lovely
bye.
rest. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Heartbeat. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a lovely night rest.